Thank you, Kate, and happy Canada Day weekend, everyone, from our beautiful nation's capital. What a great way to wrap up Week 4 in the CFL with the Ottawa REDBLACKS hosting the Toronto Argonauts. The REDBLACKS coming off their first win of the season last week, Lapo. The Argos yet to win this season. A lot of change since they won the Grey Cup, but a key addition back in return specialist Janarian Grant.
Yeah, when you're 0-3, what do you need? The most outstanding special teams player of last season. He led everything last year. Touchdowns, punt return yard average. Most importantly, 1 TD in every 5 games. Best in CFL history. Hey, I love this story. Daniel Adeboye comes back to face his former team. He had 96 rushing yards last week. Second highest career, at a receiving touchdown. He's got the longest rush in the Canadian Football League, 52. This is a good young player, can do a lot of things for Bob Dice.
And Bob Dice's team has mentioned win number 1 in Calgary on a bad weather day last week for Ryan Dinwiddie, who's had nothing but success in Toronto, but an 0-3 start. His worst start now in his 5th season. This one underway. It is Janarian Grant with it. And Dawson Pierre coming in, but he couldn't find the handle there as Grant gets 5 more yards, finally taken down by Gavin Heslock up at the Argo 45. Nick Arbuckle, former Ottawa REDBLACK, his first game back as a starter with the Argos here in Ottawa.
Yeah, first in attempts, completion, yards, but the biggest thing is most interceptions in the Canadian Football League right now with 5. He's got to clean that up, got to clean up the takeaways, but he is moving the football, putting some points on the board. He's got to eliminate the critical mistakes that happen, Rod.
Remember, Lapo, in 23, Arbuckle was benched essentially for Dustin Crum, who's starting for Ottawa tonight. The battle of the backups with Chad Kelly and Drew Brown still hurt. Arbuckle, though, the Grey Cup MVP in 24. Play action fake. He turns around, and a deep shot, and it is complete to a wide open Tavares Daniels. So right out of the gate, the CFL's leading passer, adding to the totals. Daniels gets it down at around the Ottawa 35.
Yeah, heavy play action. Try to get the linemen to start playing the run. And what do you do? They have a post and then across the field throw. You can see this. Tavares Daniels coming across. You clear everybody out. You create space on that sideline. Really good protection. Really good throw. Really good start of the drive for the Argos.
Daniels was hurt. He missed last week's game against the Riders as a pickup of 32 yards down to the 35. First down, and it's off to David Unger. So another completion for Arbuckle, and that one, a gain of about 6 yards inside the Ottawa 30.
Sage Dockstader back in after a week. Had a knee injury last week. I want to see how this continues. This young player is going to progress. Very good football player from New Mexico State. And, you know, Kevin Mattal had an outstanding week last week. I'm excited. 7 catches, 98 yards, 1 touchdown. He's an explosive player. Really fun to watch him as they incorporate him in this system.
So 2 plays, 2 completions. The Argos in scoring range already inside the 35. Lorenzo Molden gets in the face of Arbuckle and swats that one away from the Defensive Player of the Year back in 2022.
A little bit from the REDBLACKS. They're going a little bit of pressure on this first series, trying to blitz in this area of the field, kind of back them up out of field goal range. You'll see Frankie Griffin show up, and also the safety coming out, the halfback coming outside, and Lorenzo Molden's a free player. What do? You put your hands up, you can't get to the quarterback, you knock the ball down. Some aggressive D to start by Willie Field's defense, Rod.
The proud papa, Liram Hiralahu, whose wife, Denitsa, gave birth to their first child, Dia, yesterday morning. And he puts through the first points of this game. 3-0 Argos, quickly. But that drive stalled there by Lorenzo Molden with that defensive play at the line. First meeting of the season. Argos, REDBLACKS, 3-0 Toronto on Canada Day weekend here in Ottawa. Dustin Crum, second straight start for the REDBLACKS after starting 14 games back in 2023. And only 9 completions last week in the bad weather in Calgary, but enough for the victory, Lapo.
Yeah, a couple of things with this. He had 5 10-plus runs. And what does that mean? He created first downs with his legs, whether it was scrambling or making sure they had some quarterback runs. But the biggest thing, 0 interceptions, as you saw in that graphic. If you play good defense, run the football, you can win a lot of games that way.
So Crum, the trailing by 3 after the 36-yard field goal by Lirim Hajrullahu, and they run right away. They ran the ball very well. That guy, Daniel Adeboboye, had 92 yards rushing, 96, excuse me, last week against Calgary.
Jacob Rubery's filled in Admiral with injuries. Peter Godbear's been injured, Eric Starzala, so they're on their third center, and I thought Jacob Rubery's looked really good on film. I'm looking forward to see Khalil Pimpleton. Like, get him some quick screen passes. It's an explosive football player. Easy to get him some quick touches. That's what I'd love to see from this Red Blacks offense.
And Adeboboye going up against his old team, the Argos, where he spent 3 seasons. He gained 9. He gets it again. He's looking for that other one to get the first down, and he gets it. Adeboboye, one of his career highlights last week in Calgary, had a big one over 100 yards with the Argos back in 2023.
Andrew Chatfield Jr. It's 3 sacks in 3 games. This is his old team. He was on the practice squad here last year. Greg Marshall liked him, said bring him over. Isaac Darkangelo, he's an excellent football player. He continues to draw the start at middle linebacker. He's an excellent run to the football player. And I think Mark Milton will draw against this talented receiving core. And Justin Hardy, you heard Davis talk about it before. These halfbacks got to handle Justin Hardy.
Taking the handoff, trying to screen it off to Adeboboye, and it gets deflected. It falls incomplete. So a 2nd and 10 is coming up now for Ottawa.
Yeah, this is a screen pass where you try to misdirect. You'll see all this looks like a play action, so you're trying to disguise people. Is it a run? Is it a play action? No, it's a screen. So you try to get in the defenses out of the rhythm of what they're looking for. They just miss that throw a little bit. There's a lot of space to run, Rod, after that play.
You know, it means a lot to Adeboboye, too, Lapo. Toronto kid, grew up cheering for the Argos, got to play for him, win a championship there, and now he is against them. 2nd and 10 at the Ottawa 51 for Dustin Crum. With time, and he completes it to Gino Lewis, who is tied up immediately there by Tyshawn Blackburn, right around midfield and well shy of a first down. So the punting unit will be coming on for Ottawa.
Yeah, this is what Toronto wants. Toronto wants to be, hey, let's get him in 2nd and long. Let's give him zone pictures and let him throw it underneath, and we'll just rally up and make the tackle. You'll see Cameron Judge right there. You know, he's great in space. Judge comes up. He's got 14 defensive tackles this year. He's a great player. But here we go, Janarian Grant.
So yes, Judge, excuse me, on the tackle there of Lewis. So Grant back for it, and a good punt by Richie Leone. To him, the Argonauts deep there, has to go out of bounds inside the 15. Does indeed at the 11. So no chance at all for Janarian Grant. Back on, Damade Coxie, David Unger, Nick Arbuckle, and the Argos with that 3-0 lead with the ball again.
Last week versus Saskatchewan Roughriders, Nick Arbuckle had some good numbers. 26 of 33, 80% completion, 259 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception after the previous 2 weeks tried, having 4 interceptions in his first 2 games. He also had a fumble week 1 against Montreal that got returned for a touchdown. So for Nick Arbuckle, he can see pictures. He throws the ball well. He just got to eliminate those critical errors that you can't have. And if he can fix that in his game, that's when the Argos get wins.
Completed 2 of his first 3 passes. That 3rd one knocked away by Lorenzo Malden in their previous possession. And this one flagged before the snap.
Argos doing what's called what I call a Kodak. They're trying to get a look at the defense. So they do a hard count. The receivers run up to the line of scrimmage. If a defender jumps offside, the offensive lineman steps back. Now the command center is looking to see who stepped back first. Did the defense encroach, or did the offensive line go in? So they're using the command center, can help them with that process to figure out where this penalty will be assessed.
Andre Proulx is the referee for this game tonight. There's Ryan Dinwiddie mentioning nothing but success. This is different this year. Won a couple of Grey Cups in his first 4 years.
Defensive offside. Ottawa number 94. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
So they flag Malden for the offside, so they get that look, and they get the penalty too to make it a 1st and 5 for the Argos.
He'll be at the top of the screen right here, and as the hard count happens, you see people move in. Once he moves into the line of scrimmage, Ryan Hunter's going to drop back, point to him, and say, draw the flag.
The running back by Arbuckle is Mayan Williams. He has the ball. No, it's a fake to him and a throw, and that's knocked away. So faking that handoff in the short toss, just needing 5 yards for the first down. It's incomplete. Intended for Coxie.
little bit of a zone RPO, reading the backside end. Malden comes down the line of scrimmage. You pull it, have routes attached. Tried to get Coxey on the throw. Just good coverage right there versus you get some man coverage right there. And Robert Priester's right there to make the play. Good stop on 1st and 10 on the RPO game.
Ball is just across the 15, but the 16. Argos, 2nd and 5. Backfield empty. Throwing it off to the left. It is complete. But Williams gets tripped up. Tries to get up and pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. But not quite there. And the Argos are going to have to punt it away.
Getting speed and space as the back goes out to the wide side of the field. Nick just throws it out there. It's an extended toss. Try to get blocks out there. Mayan Williams just caught. There's that Grim Reaper that pulls you up sometimes off the ground and drops you right down. Unfortunate for the Argos there, but good stop by the defense of the Red Blacks. So you're going to flip the field, get great field position here for the Red Blacks.
Argos have said they want to get that rookie Williams going. To run the football better this game. It's John Haggerty with his first punt. It's a beauty. Down to the 30 for Devontae Dedman. Another electric returner for the Red Blacks. Covered up around the 47. Where that Ottawa offense, after a 57-yard punt by Haggerty, will come back on again for Dustin Crum. Came up with the win, his first start in a couple of years last week against the Stampeders in Calgary. He's starting again for Drew Brown. It was ugly weather last week. McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Cold wind and rain, and Dustin Crum found a way. Only completed 9 passes, Lapo, but his running certainly helped him out again.
Sometimes people will say, I remember having conversations with media times before I was in the media, Rod, and you know, we had won a game when a previous place I was at, and they said, hey, geez, can you do that, only completing 9 or 10 passes? And at that point, you don't care. You just want to win the football game. What did he do? He ran the football. He protected the football. And in a bad weather game, he was able to put down a position to win.
In fairness, there were some drops as well.
Absolutely. There was a couple big drops.
Here's Khalil Pickett with his first catch. And a good pickup afterwards across midfield down to the Argo 51. And that's a first down for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
And I like this call by Tommy Condell. This is, hey, I've got Khalil Pimpleton. He's coming out of the backfield here on the right of the screen. I'm just going to get him a quick little throw behind the line of scrimmage so the lineman, the receivers can block downfield, get speed and space on this wide field. Good start for Khalil Pimpleton, getting him an opportunity.
On a day of little offense last week, Pimpleton was the leading receiver in Calgary with 2 catches for 31. Has that one. And up for the first down and approaching the Argo 50. And on that sweep and cutting it back inside. Nowhere to run for Khalil Pimpleton, who might pick up a yard there on that carry.
Yeah, this is what I would call a combination play where they're running a quarterback running play, but they also have a speed sweep. So you can see there's going to be 2 pullers going in one direction, and you also have a speed sweep. And Dustin's got to make the decision. Am I going to keep it as the quarterback, or am I going to hand it off? You'd like with the people upfield, he should have kept the football and run the ball up inside.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9, right at the Argo 50. Red Blacks trailing by 3. Pressure on Crum. He gets away from Isaac D'Arcangelo and just tries to throw it away, which he does. Escapes the pocket. He took a hit afterwards. Just as he was releasing the football, D'Arcangelo getting the start in the middle once again for the injured Winton McManus. And a flag has come out, Lapo.
2nd and 10 once again. You're going to see a lot of zone defense by the Argonauts, trying to see if this young quarter, Dustin Crum, can make the throws downfield. Pressure gets him moving off the spot.
Grounding. Ottawa number 18. The ball did not reach the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down.
So as he starts to feel the pressure, there has to be either a receiver close to where he's throwing the ball, or the ball has to cross the line of scrimmage. Running to his left with somebody running right to him, he can't make that throw. Just puts him in a bad position with the penalty there.
With that, pushes them back in this 3rd down to their own 46. Richie Leone standing at his 32 to get this one away. Janarian Grant.
Great example of the speed of Isaac D'Arcangelo on that last play.
Bunt Leone, Grant, about the 10. His first game this season with the Argos, coming back from an ankle injury. He could be a game breaker, but they have him nicely contained to about the 12 as Arbuckle in the offense gets ready to go again.
Power, precision, performance. The Lincoln Navigator Cup. Who will have their mic drop moment? July 1st, only on TSN.
Third possession coming up. Just a beautiful night here at TD Place in Ottawa. Canada Day weekend. Dressed accordingly, not just the red and white of Canada, but of course the Red Blacks too, and celebrating it all in the Canadian Football League. And this is 11 years after the first ever game by the Ottawa REDBLACKS in this stadium against the Toronto Argonauts, and they picked up their first win too, beating Ricky Ray and company 18-17 in a walk-off field goal. Here the Argos with the ball. It's Mayan Williams talking about trying to get him going. Not that time. Williams is stuffed up, and he picks up about just a yard against that Ottawa defense. Lapo.
Talk about some of those guys. Lorenzo Malden, third-year Red Black. If you remember, he led the league in 2022 at 17 sacks, and the most outstanding player, 0 sacks right now. Darius Pickard, playmaker, tied for first in the league with 2 fumble recoveries this season. I love that football player. Hey, Charlie Ringland, last week, first career interception, 5 tackles, doing an admirable job filling in for Alonzo Adai.
This is Ringland's third start at safety for the Red Blacks. A second and long here for Arbuckle, and the Argos deep in their own zone. Backfield empties. And he completes it to Williams, trying to cut back and get up near the 20. But again, not nearly enough for a first down. So a 2-and-out by the Argos, and Haggerty will come on. They'll have to punt it away.
Once again, Nick Arbuckle's kind of going to the underneath throws. That's as he sees pictures look to be man coverage. Doesn't like the picture he sees downfield, so he flips it to his underneath player. And just too much of the capital. The ball's in the air too long on those screen passes, so the players can come off and make the tackle. So both teams struggling a little bit, trying to get out a second and long situation.
2 dangerous returners, Lapo. You know them both, and this guy, well, you coached him, Devontae Dedman, with 5 return touchdowns. It's blocked, heading back the Red Blacks way, but still they'll have great field position. Ottawa coming in and putting some heat on Haggerty. Gavin Heslop coming in for the Red Blacks. First big play on special teams. Heslop celebrates this. Haggerty right up the middle. Ottawa football in the Argo zone. A big part of the story of Ottawa's victory in Calgary last week was their ability to run the football. Not only Dustin Crum, who's been known for this, if things break down, how he can take off, but also Daniel Adeboboye, the ex-Argo. He had a drive with that big run of 54 yards with another one that ultimately led to a touchdown as well. Adeboboye, quite the story for Ottawa and a game to remember. Let's go down to Claire Hanna.
Well, growing up in Toronto, Dan Adeboboye remembers when his parents, Ty and Marion, would bring the whole family to watch the Argos play at the Sky Dome. He even remembers seeing a player profile of Chad Owens up on the Jumbotron and thinking, hey, if he's 5'8", then I can also make it in this league. Well, Dan was drafted by Toronto. His parents became even bigger fans. He didn't miss a single home game. So when he signed in Ottawa, you think, okay, maybe they'll miss a few games in Ottawa. Nope. Ty and Marion are now Red Blacks season ticket holders. They came to both the preseason games and plan on making the trips to Toronto for every single game.
And Claire on first down, Dustin Crum. They take over at a great spot in the Argo zone after the block punt, but he is chased out of bounds. Nothing doing there. Dustin Crum and William Stanback, by the way, coming in at running back for Ottawa in that play.
So Daniel Adeboboye, like that was a trade for a conditional 5th-round pick last year. That was an outstanding trade by Sean Burke and company to get a guy who can, one, be a great special teams player, but every time you see him get opportunities to run with the football, he has stood up and made plays to say, hey, you can possibly make me a starter in this league. So that was a great trade this offseason by the Red Blacks. Jackson Bennett was a former running back here that they lost. Gave him great depth.
2nd and 11, pressure coming, gets rid of it to Stanback. Flag comes out, and first Dark Angelo in there, and Andrew Chatfield, the ex-Red Black, in on that tackle of William Stanback. Wait for the flag.
Possibly offsides by one of the receivers. Looked a little bit past the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Toronto, number 23, 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay 2nd down.
It's Benji Franklin instead called the offside. Penalty is a big issue for Ryan Dinwiddie's team last week against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Part of his frustration after that defeat to the Riders.
You can see right here. So he probably lined up. When you get in a press situation, you still have to be a yard off the football. So he probably just lined up, didn't know where he was on the field. Just difficult penalty, especially on a screen pass that goes across the field that you're not really going to be in any factor in. Great tackle by D'Arcangelo. Keeps the drive. Give another opportunity.
2nd and 6 after the penalty. Throwing caught by Justin Hardy. Right around the 15. Hardy had only 1 catch for 5 yards last week in Calgary, and that would be right at the first down marker. Depending where they spot it, might be enough to move the sticks.
Quick outs, take the inside throw. Justin Hardy has great body control and controls the football before Cameron Judge. He's going to be coming. He's going to give you a shot inside to the chest. Good play by Dustin Crum. Good read by him. Justin Hardy understanding context coming, making that quick 6-yard out catch.
In his 4th year out of East Carolina, Justin Hardy, 2nd leading receiver in the CFL in yardage last season. 1st and 10 from lots of time, but running out of it, runs out of it there. With Chatfield coming in, who was traded by the Red Blacks to the Argos in the offseason, and picking up another sack. That's his 4th sack so far this season in Game 4 for Andrew Chatfield.
A little bit of pressure from the secondary, but watch the coverage. You're going to see good coverage on the outside. You're going to see people in good situations of coverage. He's trying to find somebody to throw, and this has been Dustin Crum's issue. Sometimes he can't find the first throw. He's got to be faster at his checkdowns, Rod, because at times he holds the ball and takes too many sacks.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Stand back behind him. Crum resets. Again with time, looks to the end zone, off the fingertips and picked off. Tavares McFadden comes up with the interception. A little bit too far for the Ottawa receiver. Just off the fingertips. Khalil Pimpleton in there, and alertly Tavares McFadden, Keelan White targeted there. McFadden, who had a touchdown scored after an interception in the playoff game against Ottawa last November.
A tip field by Tavares McFadden. I like where Dustin Crum is. He just doesn't locate this football. He's got an opportunity to throw it up and inside a little bit to Keelan White. It goes a little high and to the outside. McFadden's right there to make that catch. That's a spectacular catch by a field corner, finding that spot, making the play. Yeah, he was in the right spot. Just got to locate that football a little bit more inside. McFadden makes him pay. Great play by McFadden.
He got a nice souvenir in that playoff game in Toronto last year after Whit McManus had the pick and tossed it to him. He took it to the house. It's Ryan Williams again. Tough to get in the yardage, and that helmet comes off. Williams, who's still lying down. Football beside him and slowly getting up. Another short gain of about 1. Tough to run against the Red Blacks right now.
Frankie Griffin is a very good football player. You know, a couple years ago, the linebackers kind of changed with the hash changes. Frankie Griffin was somebody I was able to work with. Not very big, 6 feet, 210 pounds, but he can run, and he's a physical inside player at 210 pounds. You see him right at the edge of the screen. Nobody there, comes up, makes a nice open field tackle.
Santos Knox following up just as he was going down, and you see the helmet of Ryan Williams right there coming up.
Walking off now, it's good. So the Argos now are again, Rod, in their 2nd and long. This has been the 3rd straight time they've been in a 2nd and long situation. Red Blacks have mixed in pressure, but Knicks had to throw the ball underneath, try to see if they can get throws past the sticks instead of behind the line of scrimmage.
Now the running back for Toronto, number 6, Kevin Brown, formerly of the Edmonton Elks, in his 2nd game in double blue. Arbuckle to throw. It is caught. It's Kevin Mittal. Had a big breakout gain. He gets it up across the 45 for a first down for the Argos. Mittal, last week at 7 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown against Saskatchewan, a gain of 16.
When you put 2 receivers on the field, there's a lot of space for these 2 defenders. One of those defenders you expect to go high, and one of them's going to be underneath. Kevin Mittal started going out and then back in. Creates too much space for the one low player. Mittal's great with the ball in his hands. Great first down.
For the 2nd-year product of Laval, taking the handoff and in behind to Dejon Brissett. Just a bit in behind him, up across midfield. Falls incomplete. Second down coming up.
Nick Arbuckle trying to get one of those RPO plays, just off on the slant a little bit. Just missed Brissett, a little bit behind him on that. You know, and that's thing Ryan Dimwitty talked about this week. This is maybe the most frustrated he's ever been after last week's game. I loved his comments. So he said, hey, listen, you know, I tell my players don't talk in public about things that happened. He apologized to his players for some of his outbursts last week.
He vented certainly publicly more than you'd normally see. Second down and 10. Arbuckle stepping up for Kevin Brown. So gets a touch coming out of that backfield for the Argos, but he is tackled shy of the first down, a few yards shy, and the punting unit will come on.
And, you know, sometimes you're going to say, hey, you're checking it down, you're checking it down. As teams play and drop 8 people into zone coverages, you're going to have to be good on first down because you will be taking some of these throws. When you're not good on first down, you're going to end up 2 to 3 yards short and having to punt. And again, we've just talked about Nick Arbuckle. Don't take interceptions. Make sure you make good decisions. It's a good decision there.
The last time Haggerty was punting, Gavin Heslop shot through a gap in the middle and blocked it. This time it gets away cleanly. It is a booming punt by Haggerty. Sails and lands in the end zone as Devontae Dedmon just watches it go by, picks it up, takes a knee, put a point on the board for the Toronto Argonauts on the leg of John Haggerty. A 67-yard punt for the Aussie there.
One of the things, Rod, I would be talking about if we were facing Janarian Grant, if we were facing Devontae Dedmon, you want your offense to be able to, hey, listen, we can't have 10 or 11 punts in a game. We're just creating ourselves, our punt cover team, we're stressing them, and we do not want to punt to their best players. So part of the job offensively, yes, it is to score points, but it is also to have a 8-9 play drive where you're not forcing punts all the time to some of the best returners in the history of the game.
Well, certainly are dangerous returners, to your point, with Janarian Grant and Devontae Dedmon. Grant especially, and back in the Argo lineup in this one tonight, trying to run the ball with William Stanback. And he, as mentioned, had a lot of success last week in the second quarter, especially against the Stampeders. Not just Attaboy. Stanback had 9 carries for 82 yards, but not much there. Last play, first quarter, and it'll be a second and long coming up here for Dustin Crum and the Ottawa REDBLACKS. The Argos took it down the field for a field goal in their opening possession in this low-scoring game. Listen to the Arkells.
Put your hands up, baby, walk me, let me. I see it in your eyes. You got the scars to show. It's been years in the making. It's been years in the making.
Through one quarter, we're celebrating Canada Day weekend. We are not, Lapo, celebrating offense so far. Big plays on special teams and defense, but a note of the rushing yards in particular for both teams.
How about we celebrate good defense, Rod? Good run defense,
absolutely.
right? Hey, for the Toronto Argonauts, this is a win. Only 12 rushing yards. They knew Dustin Crum was going to run the football. They knew William Stanback's going to run the football. They knew there was going to be runs after runs. Only 12 yards, that's very good. Now, the Argos offensively, they got to get some yardage. Only 0 yards for themselves. They got to help Nick Arbuckle and get him in better situations.
Drove down for a field goal in their first possession. Not much sense. Here's Crum throwing. Going up, and a nice catch for Geno Lewis. That's what they brought him in for. Big catch, first down in the Argo zone quickly, down to about the 46. And a gain of 25 for Eugene Lewis.
Take your big, tall receiver, put him in the middle of the field, clear a zone out, and give him a spot. You throw it high. Eugene Lewis, you trust to make that catch in space over the top of the linebackers. Really good, right over the top of the Will linebacker. I love that throw. Really good execution.
He had 1 catch for 23 yards last week in Calgary. Taking the handoff, throwing again to the right, caught again inside the 30. It's Hardy. Another top receiver for the REDBLACKS has another catch, 17 more yards, couple of quick passing plays. Dustin Crum is the REDBLACKS offense on the move.
Once again, let the quarterback read the defensive end at the bottom of the screen. If he crashes down in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to pull it, and we're going to have 5 routes on the outside. They have good options to throw. REDBLACKS trying to go tempo now.
Yes, working quickly. A flag comes out on that catch. Braylon Addison has the football. As mentioned, a flag coming out just with the snap of the ball.
And for Tommy Condell running some of those, what you call the RPOs, where, you know, you get Dustin Crum on the outside. He only has to read a half of the field. Those are good things for the quarterback to see.
Offside.
Good pictures.
Toronto number 23. 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay first down.
Once again, another penalty. Another offsides penalty that's hurting the Argos. Putting the Red Blacks in a 1st and 5 situation.
Down to the 23 after that offside, then Benji Franklin. Crum is 6 for 8, 66 yards now. Williams stand back. No, Chatfield was a sack in this game in the first quarter. He comes right in and he wraps Standback on that 2nd down and 5, and they get nothing on that running play.
Chatfield knifes it inside. What's he do? He beats the tackle across. You'll see him coming inside the screen, beats the tackle across to get inside on that play. Just jumps inside as an outside contained player. Why? Because they blitz somebody on the outside.
Excuse me, on that 1st and 5. So 2nd down and 5 coming up now. Quickly to the right and caught right down around the 15. Enough for a 1st down again. That is Khalil Pimpleton. And hands were up at the line of scrimmage as Crum managed to get that one through and another completion.
Number 2 receiver going to just run a hitch here. If the halfback's high and the corner's outside, you've got space to throw. 2 players in one position for the corner. Can't make the decision. Easy throw to throw the inside throw. Good decision, good throw. And the best thing about it, Rod, 2nd and 5, easy.
And it looked, Lapo, like it was partially deflected, but still got through to the target. And a 1st down at the Argo 15. Here come the Ottawa REDBLACKS, trailing 4-0 early 2nd quarter.
Time count violation. Ottawa number 18. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
So they had all that momentum, and then they take a time count.
Yeah, it looked like there's a big motion. Had a lot of guys moving across the field, or they couldn't get aligned. Got to see back of the end zone to his right. Dustin Crum's got to see that clock. Usually you would have, I would say, you would have a category where you say something to the players. Hey, 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 we're going fast. We're going fast. And you're going to call it quickly. You're going to speed up your cadence. You have that for situational football.
Puts him back to the 20. Crum throwing to the right. 5. Just outside the 10. Pimpleton steps. Loses the ball. And the Argos have it. And running back the other way is the safety, Derek Sluka. At the 20. And he won't be touched. Touchdown Argos. Pimpleton had it. He coughed it up. And the rookie Sluka takes it all the way back to the REDBLACKS end zone. And more points on the board as the Argos extend their lead.
Some of the things the Argonauts did last season to be able to get them wins early with their starting quarterback out was this. Takeaways on defense that led to points. Khalil Pimpleton's trying to get extra yardage. You know people are coming to chase you. You've got to be really good with the football. Sluka is right there to make the play. Nobody's on that side of the field. Runs it back. Sluka's a former wide receiver playing free safety. Great speed. Great execution by the Toronto defense. Looked like Tavares McFadden was in there stripping the ball. And that's the biggest thing. When you start making multiple people try to miss, people are going to come strip the ball around.
And Liram Hairolau on for the sudden extra point for the Argos. Getting another big play on defense. Sluka made headlines in the preseason for his ability to play in either side of the ball. Defense that time, but showing off the offensive side from there on. Running the length of the field for his first CFL touchdown. Argos up 11.
This is the effort plays you talk about with your defense. Chase the football. Make plays when people are running with it, and when you get close and you're not close to making the tackle, make sure you get a punch. Watch right there. Benji Franklin gets the peanut punch. Charles Peanut Tillman from the Chicago Bears. Most defensive coaches call that the peanut punch. You're going to come and take one shot from behind and try to knock that ball out. Sluka's right there. So excellent effort by the defensive group, but Benji Franklin's the one who created that turnover.
And it was Sluka picking it up
talk about it.
and running 105 yards for the touchdown. So it's 11-0. Points off turnovers, 8-0 Toronto. Devontae Dedman on the returns. And Ottawa's in an early hole now, second quarter, as Dedman is pushed down around the 35. Another look at how this materialized after the catch by Khalil Pimpleton.
Yeah, Benji right behind. Watch his punch right there. You're going to practice that during training camp. You're going to practice that once a week. Hey, when somebody's going to make the tackle, the second man in is going to try to get a punch. And if you're not holding the ball, it should pop out. Gives you opportunity. Sluka's right there. Does a great job making the play here. Now, for the Red Blacks, 1 week ago, no turnovers, right? Won the turnover margin +5. Here they're -2 in turnover margin. That's why they put themselves here at 11-0 down. So they just got to continue to kind of moving the ball. They're doing some good things. They just got to finish in the end zone, and they just got to hold on to the football.
Well, you're right. It was 5-0 in Calgary for the Red Blacks you talked about. And the Argos, a differential of 10. They were -5 coming into this. But, yeah, it's a different story. Here in Canada Day weekend, Daniel Adebaboye in at running back again for the Red Blacks. They're trailing 11-0. The ball again in a play-action fake, and pressure is on. Lanier nearly had Crum, and he got away and intended it there for Gosselin, but it falls incomplete. But Anthony Lanier, the former Rough Rider, in and putting some pressure there on Dustin Crum.
So over here, you're going to see pressure from the inside. This is a play action. Lanier gets inside Jacob Ruby and is able to take one side of Ruby and then go. But that's the hard part of Dustin Crum. He's such a big physical quarterback. It's hard to bring him down. He escapes, throws it past the line of scrimmage. Learned from his mistake before, so it's not a penalty, just a throwaway.
So Crum and the Red Blacks offense trying to settle down now to that defensive touchdown. Second down and 10. Throwing a low one down at the 40 for Braylon Addison.
And this is going to be the same MO. Toronto, when they force a second and long situation, drop everybody else in zone. That's a 6-yard pass. They're going to try to get the ball out of their hands quickly. They're going to put you off the field. So for, Dustin, they just got to make sure they get their run game going. When they take shots on 1st and 10, they got to make sure they get some completions. That's the chess match. You want to run the football, but every once in a while you got to take a shot, Rod, because you got to flip the field too.
So a low pass, it was incomplete. Third down, Leone punting. Back for Grant. Standing at his 25, Canarian Grant. Backpedals, spins around, nowhere to go, and cuts it back up the middle, and still not much there. As Tyron Breda takes him down, and that special teams tackle at the 29. Gorgeous day here in the nation's capital. Look at the Rideau Canal. 11-0, Argos lead it. Any of you fans of the Trailer Park Boys? Well, they're now on Crave. Don't miss all 12 seasons of legendary Canadian series featuring the hilarious misadventures of the Sunnyvale Gang. Stream all the seasons now on Crave. Proudly Canadian. Back here in Ottawa, Nick Arbuckle and the Argo offense on. They get an 11-0 lead. Back with the ball now. Up at the 30. Kevin Brown, the running back now. The injury to Mayan Williams. Play fake to him. Throwing wide open. Davaris Daniels has a lot more too. And a quick strike by the Argos and Arbuckle to get it down to the Ottawa 40.
Nick Arbuckle recognizes a blitz with a zone blitz. Pressure coming off, but zone coverage behind it. So this is going to be a 3-deep zone. But there is a huge seam, and if you get protection, you can throw it. You see it right there. He sees the seam, throws it between the free safety and the corner. That's a great throw by Nick, but it's because he recognized the zone pressure coming.
Daniels has 2 catches for 72 yards. Back in the Argo lineup. Faking to Brown again. Throwing again. Back to Daniels. Again and inside the 30. So quickly going to number 80 again. And
Brad, you know what they call this play? Money. Because it's always open. It's always money. Money in the bank. It's a little switch here. They get one Priester high. One comes underneath. Nice, easy completion after the big play. Just try to get your quarterback another rhythm throw, something you can pull the ball perimeter, get underneath, get Daniels the ball.
Well, it was money that time.
Money. It was money that time.
It was. Daniels has been money here.
And you're never going broke if you put money in the bank either.
I've heard that. Haven't always lived that way, but I've heard that. Pressure coming. And open again. Metel down inside the 5. First and goal coming up, and Arbuckle's got something going here. This offense quickly down the field they go.
You're controlling the inside zone player, and you're bringing a guy late into the middle. There you can see it right there. You move him out of the way. There's the space to throw the football. Good timing throw. These throws take a lot of time, so great protection up front. Great separation, Metel. You want him to trail the first receiver. Good drive for the Argos.
Yeah, he gets 27. He's got 2 for 43. So that completion's a 40, 27. On the ground here for Kevin Brown. Drives down to the 1. Mentioned his second game as a member of the Argonauts after some productive years, including one for over 1,000 yards as a member of the Edmonton Elks. And a late signing after the injury to Deontay McMahon. So Brown in and has that carry down close, 2nd and goal.
Extra lineman coming in, so you're, at 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line, you're going to be 95% probability of falling forward due to the quarterback sneak. I know, Rod, sometimes people, why don't you hand the tailback? Because you don't want to hand the ball back 7 yards when you can be under center, put yourself in a position for a short one. But hey, look at that. They're offsetting the shotgun here, so we'll see what happens. They are going to probably be a run here.
2nd and goal, Arbuckle taking it to touchdown. Ryan Hunter.
Big guy, touchdown, nothing better.
Chalk up another TD for one of the offensive linemen, an eligible receiver. Ryan Hunter gets to celebrate with his fellow O-lineman and with his quarterback. And just
so he's reported now, so he's an eligible receiver. They're going to do an action fake this way, boot away, expect nobody to cover him as he goes out into the flat. Nice play action. Nobody's got him. They think he's an ineligible lineman. Nice catch. Now, watch the offensive lineman. We're going to have to go back and show that, because I am telling you, the most excited you will ever see in your life, Rod, offensive lineman, is 1, food, but 2, when one of their teammates catches a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Those offensive linemen ran over to him and made plays.
But let's be clear, in that order, food first, right?
Yes.
Wait, we saw with Winnipeg's Tuieli not long ago as he celebrated that when it's Ryan Hunter. You give an O-lineman the ball every now and then. They're friends for life. Touchdown, Hunter.
Look at all these guys, man. Hey, they're happy, laughing, excited. All right, as you see this, everybody's getting ready to blitz because the ball's at the 2-yard line. You expected the ball to be handed off. Quick fake, but don't forget the big guy. Reports, dumps out in the flat. Nobody covers him. There we go. There's your touchdown. But watch all these linemen. Watch it. Can you guys rack it back a second? Watch all these linemen running over. They know it's coming. They already know the play's called. So they are, look at, he's just watching already to see. Look at them all running over there. They're going, hey, let's go get our buddy. That's the best time for a lineman in the history, because they all think they're going to get a catch eventually. The coach is going to say, hey, why don't you try now? We got one for Hunter. But it's awesome to see. Nothing better for the O-lineman.
Devontae Dedman on the return. Yeah, O-linemen living vicariously through their offensive lineman brethren. And how are they going to celebrate after, Lapo?
Food.
I was going to say.
Or flips.
Yeah.
Flips and food. Excellent. That's awesome. Great to see all those guys. They love it. All the players. When you have plays like that in your system, and when you're, when you score and it executes, it just brings up your whole team. They just enjoy it. Ryan Hunter's a great leader for that unit, so the guys love it. You see Chris Sweet now. What he's doing now is going over the whole drive, what they've done the last few plays. He's saying, here's how we have to handle these next things, the hardest things on that drive.
Yeah, Chris isn't drawing up routes there, is he?
No. Protections.
All protections, and then a very good offensive lineman, an all-star in Ryan Hunter, who, by the way, has already played at left guard and right tackle, is back to tackle because of the injuries they've dealt with so far this season. Very versatile product of North Bay, Ontario. There's Dustin Crum back in, and 18-0. Argos leading at first offensive touchdown, and they had a defensive one scored by Derek Sluka earlier.
Once again, Toronto, 131 yards rushing, giving up a game, 8th in the CFL, and they are stopping the run on first down, putting Dustin Crum in long yardage situations. We're not in last week and don't want to be in.
So the two other quarterbacks there on the sideline for Ottawa. That's complete. Braylon Addison has it and knifes his way up with a flag coming out. What would be enough for a first down, and that second and long across midfield.
A little bit longer developing play. What happens sometimes, you're going to get a flag. Looks like we got holding.
Ottawa number 63, 10-yard penalty. It remains second down.
It's the right tackle, Darte Lee, who's called for the hold, so it pushes Ottawa further back inside their 40.
Right tackle here in the one-on-one situation against Chatfield Jr. You can see him hands up too high and grabbing and extending there with his left hand. If you get your hands up there, you got to pull him back down and put him back inside. You can't keep your hands up there because that's going to lead to a hold.
Second and 18 for number 18, and a low snap out of the shotgun, completing it right back to Addison. But it's Cameron Judge coming in and throwing him down just in front of the 40-yard line. So it's a long third down coming up. Richie Leone will head out, and Ottawa's going to have to hand this ball back to the Argos with that 18-point lead.
Yeah, and once again, like another kick to Janarian Grant. You just don't want to kick to this guy too many times. Second and extra. They looked a little bit deep, but it was really going to be an underneath throw, not force anything. Put your defense back out on the field.
It is Grant's second year with the Argos after those great seasons with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and he was a star for Toronto last year. Missed the first 3 games with an ankle injury. This is his season debut. Shakes around, well covered though, down around the 16 for the Red Blacks after a 54-yard punt by Richie Leone. So Arbuckle and that offense, boy, they worked quickly. Last time out, 5 plays, 80 yards, and a big one to Tavares Daniels, another big one to Kevin Mettel, and the biggest all to the big man, Brian Hunter, for the touchdown.
You know, and Nick's seeing pictures pretty well. And again, we said that last week. He had some good throws downfield. He was able to lead them. And he's just trying to do his best to help find his team. He was the MVP last year. And when I talked to him early in the season, MVP of the Grey Cup game, he just said, hey, listen, that's so past. I just want to make sure I'm here week to week helping our team get a win.
This time a year ago, he thought his career might be over. The Argos gave him a shot. Throwing again. And taking a pop is Coxey, and that's C.J. Colden in there, as well as Robert Priester, the ex-Argonaut.
Yeah, C.J. Colden right there, a little bit behind. He makes a play on the ball. C.J.'s tied for first with 2 interceptions. His football team, just a little bit underthrown. He's right there for the play. Nice hit. Yeah, you talk about Nick Arbuckle. I remember asking Nick, I said, what's it like after a Grey Cup MVP? He goes, well, I can take a little bit more shots in practice. And you know, last year I was worried about doing anything wrong. Now I can make a couple of throws that they're going to forgive if they don't work.
Arbuckle, their starting quarterback this year, as they await the return of Chad Kelly. And he's facing some heat, and Cleon Lang is saying, nope, you're not going anywhere now. It was Malden in first and Lang to finish it off. And they finally do get to Arbuckle, and they force a third down, and the punting unit will be on for Toronto.
Long defensive ends with speed. Lorenzo Malden coming around right tackle. Brian Hunter, great spin move. Nick feels it, starts to climb the pocket. By the time he climbs the pocket, Cleon Lang's right there to make the stop. Really good execution by Cleon Lang and Lorenzo Malden, forcing Nick back up inside.
And their first sack. And this one, Haggerty at the goal line. Dedman back, pressure again. Well, they blocked one. They nearly had another. Dedman takes it just outside his 40. And he's racked up about the 47. Can go no further. He's got some heat on Haggerty again. Put in a perfect spot to block a punt, but a warning is given. 2:59 on the clock. They give the 3-minute warning. Cleon Lang and the Ottawa Redbacks, though, and in a hole, 18 points, getting late here in the first half.
You know, anyone who says Davis Sanchez doesn't work hard, it's chop wood, carry water. Go ahead, Chessie. Do it. Okay, we got to get to Enoch. Oh, my gosh. You know what? Enoch's been waiting here the entire time just to cut a wood cookie. No touchdowns by the Red Blacks, by the way. So far, stop it. I'm terrified of the 2 of these. Lapo, I'm surprised you didn't come down and take my segment.
Hey, guys, I'll tell you what. That wood chop was straight fire.
You We've been dying to say that.
Look at Enoch go. Don't get hurt, Enoch. Good
I don't
Lord.
know. Ottawa better get a touchdown. I don't know if I trust those two with sharp instruments like that. That's it, Ches. Put the axe down. Put the axe down. Ottawa needs to see wood cookie cut. Right now, they got nothing. 0 on the board. 18-0 Argos. Late in the first half, Hardy with the football.
Good play, though. 6-yard gain. Underneath throw to Justin Hardy to get quarterback in a second and short position.
Well, when you consider the Sluka touchdown, Ottawa was moving. They were in scoring position, down very close, and thinking of a touchdown that could have given them the lead.
They've done some good things. They've got a block punt in this game, but it just shows turnovers.
That one was
you don't get back on the field can kill you.
And that was at the very least a 10-point swing on the Sluka touchdown when they were easily in field goal range. Pressure gets rid of it, and right to Geno Lewis, and he can't hang on. It is dropped. What would have been a first down. Now it's a third. And there was a lot of heat on Crum, who just barely got rid of the ball.
You're getting pressure. This is part of Toronto's game plan. You're going to see the halfback coming from the backside as he starts to blitz. There's going to be a space in zone. There always is. Geno Lewis is there. Dustin sees the space. Just don't finish with the ball in your hands. Got to see the ball in your hands.
Costly drop, and it ends the drive. And 2:21 on the clock, and back to the Argos. Janarian Brand at the 10. He finds a little bit of room to get up around the 25. 2:14, still lots of time for Arbuckle and that Argo offense to see if they can work quickly again and add to their lead. Well, presumably they're going to go back to their.
I just hope they don't bring the.
Get away from the axe. Get away from the chainsaw.
Axe.
Yeah.
Don't go over with the.
Yeah. and the professionals.
Objects.
The professionals are waiting to cut some wood cookies, but no chance to yet.
Zipper face. Yes.
And Kate, if you're listening and you're working your way all the way back over, but Lapo's dying to get back down there and take some of the segment. He wants to call the game up here. He wants to work the panel, and he wants to get the straight fire stuff correct after. You need another chance.
I want to talk about my guys. Like, I was pretty fired up. My guys, Travell Pinto, going up and making the play.
Yeah, and I'll add to the congrats, by the way. That's absolutely awesome. The National Men's Flag Football Team, coached by Paul Appleese. There's Kate, Enoch.
Pretty cool. I mean, Ottawa's got one of the best. I think it's one of the best experiences in the CFL with all the restaurants right by.
Really is.
The young crowd. We've got so many places to watch the game from, and it's a really exciting game day atmosphere here with people. It's a very young crowd, and you can just walk outside, and there's 6 to 10 restaurants you can walk to and go. I remember as players coming to this when Ottawa came back in the league, everyone was really impressed with how
it was exciting because there was a gap there. They had the Rough Riders, of course, after many years, and then the Renegades. But this started in 2014 with renovations of the stadium here in the South Side, and it's been great. The toss and the sweep from Vital. Good carry by Kevin Vital. One of the top receivers, ball's loose. Redblacks looking for it there. And it is still in the Argo hands. Vital with a good pickup, and Tavares Daniels comes up with the ball.
You always talk to your receivers, hey, chase the football, chase the football, chase the football. Good things happen. Ball squirts out, you can be right there. All right, this is what's called a speed sweep. So you just flip it to the Vital, let them run. You have the tailback can be an extra blocker for you, and then you just kind of circle the defense. You call it a one-block game. All you have to block is the receiver to your side, and then you should get positive yardage. But great chase by the Argo receivers recovering that fumble.
And they get a 1st and 10 out of it. Moving up a bit. Play action fake. Arbuckle stands in, takes off. And a rare run for Nick Arbuckle, but he does get it up to the 50, and what looks like another Toronto first down. Very close.
They spotted him a little bit shy of it, Rod, it looked like. But outstanding pickup here. This is a play action pass. So, when you have play actions, you got to make sure when the blitzer comes, you go take the blitzer. You can see right there Kevin Brown picking up the blitzer, coming off the edge to make the play. Great stop by the defense.
Really was. Kevin Brown, the ball carrier, and that was actually on a 2nd and 2 denied. So it's a 3rd down, more than 2 yards to go as the Argos will have to punt.
Darius Pickett sneaking in there, making the play. Really good stop on 2nd and short. You know, a 2nd and 2 to 3, all you need is 2 yards, Rod, because then you get that 3rd and 1 opportunity with the yard off the ball. Should have been able to get that yard off the ball. Quarterback sneak, but a stop, a negative yardage play. Really good job by the Red Blacks D.
A couple of times, Ottawa has been able to get through and put some heat on Haggerty. One time they got a piece of it. Last time out near the goal line, they came close to blocking it as well. As Haggerty stands about the 32. Punting it away to Devontae Dedman, coming in at the 15. Dedman across the 30, where he meets 3-4 Argos to take him down. 1:09 on the clock. Still time for the Red Blacks and Crum to see if they can at least get down into field goal range and have something to show for this first half. They're being shut out right now, 18-0. Defensive touchdown and an offensive
these
one.
are the situations Dustin Crum is trying to prove to everybody, hey, I can be the guy. I know I can run with the football, but can I throw the football? Because in the Canadian football, you've got to be able to throw to win. This is a good situation. Trying to move the ball down the field. Let's see what passes they give him. See how he operates it.
They can somehow get into scoring range. They get the ball to start the second half. They had won the toss and deferred. Crum on the first down. Pocket collapses. He escapes. Crum on the move. And once again, doing a very good job getting out of it, using his legs to get up around the 38. It'll set up a 2nd and short coming up here for Ottawa.
That's a good scramble by him. The protection broke down. You'll see it on the inside as protection breaks down. As they have 4 rushers, they do a twist. As the twist happens, people show up on the inside. Chatfield shows up. He just cops out and runs. That's why you do want mobility from your quarterback position.
And speaking of Chatfield, he is injured now. Very productive start in his first year with the Argos, with the Red Blacks organization last year, but only got in 1 game, and he was traded to Toronto in the offseason. And Chatfield with a sack tonight. He is 4 in the season, but favoring looked like his right knee and getting some attention now from the Argos medical staff.
Yeah, Greg Marshall, defensive line coach, then longtime CFL coach. He coached Andrew Chatfield here. He was in Ottawa last season as a D-line coach, and as they started losing some of their free agents last year, he said, hey, this is a good player. We should think about. Greg brought him over for the opportunity.
So look at what happens. He's the one in pursuit there, and just see him go down and then favor that right knee as Crum took off.
Rolled his knee.
Still down, but you're right. The challenge is of rebuilding a defensive line, not once but twice. Remember, it was Dwayne Hendricks and Brandon Barlow.
Yeah.
Parts back in 23. They lose them. They bring in Jake Seresna. They had Jared Brinkman. And, of course, Robbie Smith, longtime staple, and all gone to Edmonton.
There's Greg Marshall right there. And
there's Greg.
Well, you know, Wynton McManus, when you're going to re-sign Wynton McManus, that's going to cost dollars. And then you're going to lose some people. And you can't keep everybody. So it might have come down to Jake Seresna or Wynton McManus. You know, I don't know. But, like, they can't sign every player. Obviously, Wynton McManus was a priority for them. And they had to get rid of, you know, they did not have the cap space, so other teams took really good players.
Looks like Wynton has a future in our panel. What do you think?
Ryan Dimwitty called him Enoch McManus.
Well, I like that with Kate and Enoch when he was in Wynton filling in for Ches
studio a couple nights ago,
and he had the toothpick. He's not giving that up. In fact, he took it out. He had another one ready to go. Always with that toothpick. Crum trying to get away. He does to Keelan White. And that's closer to a first down at 49 seconds on it, but it'll be a 3rd and short here, and a good job by Crum just to get rid of the football.
Well, he had pressure to the left. You'll see some pressure right here. Free player coming off the edge, and then he's able to get the ball out. That's why I talk about his strength and his power, how strong a football player he is. He's able to just throw it while he's got a defender on him.
Crum is their short yardage quarterback, too. He just stays in and he gets the first down. So 44 seconds. They're still in their own end, up around the 42.5-yard line.
So calling this, you know, they're waiting for the ball to be snapped. He wants to snap it as soon as he can. There's only 43 seconds left. He doesn't want to waste a lot of time. He wants to call it at the line of scrimmage.
Let's see if they can push their way into field goal range. It's something here. Coming back for the ball. No. It's intended for Lewis, and Benji Franklin is right there with him as it goes incomplete.
Benji Franklin makes the great play on the outside. Dustin's looking inside for this post, doesn't like it, flips his hips, goes outside for Eugene Lewis, but Benji gets his hand in there, makes a great play to knock this ball down.
We have a challenge now from the Red Blacks and Bob Dice. Presumably on that
is
coverage.
Challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference on their receiver, number 87. The play will be reviewed by the replay center.
We're thinking that coverage was a little too close by Benji Franklin.
We shall see.
Again, a timely challenge looking at the situation here. 33 seconds to go, and the catch would put him a whole lot closer to a shot at 3.
So the replay center's not going to slow this down too much. They're not going to slow it. They want it to be clear and concise. They want it to be clear and obvious. So we'll take a look at these couple of things. The thing that hurt Dustin Crum, why this ball's a little late, if you notice, he dropped back and he kind of shifted to his left. So he's a little bit off time. That's why Benji could get here, because he was a little bit late with this throw because he had to move his feet, get his feet settled. See.
To your point, it looks different when you see it in slow-mo, doesn't it?
Yes. But command center really isn't looking at it in slow motion. Their MO has been, hey, it's got to be clear and obvious, and we want to look at live pictures. We don't want to slow it down too much. If we're slowing it down too much, we probably shouldn't put a flag down.
The right arm was in contact, although not, didn't look like interfering on the right side, and the left hand was reaching around to.
You can see Dustin Crum moves to the left a little bit. That makes the throw a little bit later. But you see a little tug there, right? So that tug impeded the receiver's opportunity to get the ball. We'll see.
Andre Proulx is the referee tonight with the result there from the review center.
Upon review by the replay center, there is defensive pass interference on Toronto number 23. The ball will be placed at the Toronto 52-yard line and a first down.
So a good challenge for Bob Dice.
Yep,
it is
great
PI.
by Coach Dice.
And that gets him down to the 52. So 33 seconds. And Lewis Ward in warm-up was hitting from around midfield, going in that direction, right to left. So get about 7 more yards here. Might have a shot at a field goal. Take off. No, he'll throw. And he completed 2, and he took a hit. He took a pop. Hardy was waiting for it. A flag comes out right where Crum was hit. 2 flags thrown.
I think the first flag is going to be a holding. The longer a quarterback holds the ball and starts to scramble, offensive linemen are going to tend to hold. And then this looks like a blow to the head here. You just can't make this shot. This is what the league wants eliminated. Collisions like this.
And that is definitely one of them. There was an indication as they continue to discuss. One of these penalties is definitely against the Argos. It's 2 flags thrown.
There are 2 holding on Ottawa. Major foul, roughing the passer on Toronto number 8. We're going to go up 5 yards.
So that from Andre Proulx. So bottom line is, it is a gain in yardage and a first down for the Red Blacks with 25 seconds on the clock. They get it to the Argo 47. So we'd be looking at about a 54-yarder for Lewis Ward right now.
Now here you want to be very high percentage passes, run the football. They
Get a bit closer.
Get a little bit closer. You get 25 seconds. You get plenty of time to run a couple of plays. You just can't lose yardage. There's the quick throw.
Hitter there, down to the 40. So definitely in the Ward range now.
Right now they can get up on the ball. If they want to run the football here, they can continue to run. They are in field goal range now, but make it a little bit better field goal for them. Don't force a throw to the end zone here. Just keep getting better yardage for the field goal.
Well, the Red Blacks twice have been deeper than this and had nothing to show for it. Once it was a turnover that led to an Argo touchdown. Looking for points. Pressure on. Ball comes out. They're pushed back. They're for the big guys to do something with the ball, because that alert play by Lee still got them closer to field goal range. That could have been a complete disaster for Ottawa.
Canadian offensive line league right here. Darda Lee, as the ball gets knocked out here, picks it up, says, let me run with it, right?
They need those yards.
I saw a big man touchdown already. Can I get a big man touchdown over here? That would have been, that's quite a spin move right there too, Roddy. Like, I don't know, man. That would have been quite a play if you would have to fire your entire defense if he scored on that play.
Well,
Made all those guys.
I tell you, if Lee just fell on the ball, they'd be out of field goal range.
No, really smart.
So good move to get it to a 50-yard try. Lewis Ward and the Red Blacks finally get some points on the final play of the first half with Janarian Grant back. That is perfect. Finally something to celebrate in the nation's capital for the home side. Here on Canada Day weekend, Lewis Ward pumps through a 50-yarder. Thanks in no small part to his right tackle, Darte Lee, after the fumble to make sure they got it back to within range for Bob Dice and the Red Blacks. Not easy for Ottawa in this first half, Lapo. It could have been a different story when they were driving. But the touchdown for the Argos, the offensive one to Ryan Hunter, standing by with Claire.
Ryan, I bet you didn't think you would be scoring a touchdown as an offensive lineman, but walk me through that play.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on it all week. Coach called it when we had it in the huddle, kind of knew it was there, so I had a couple seconds to mentally prepare to not drop the ball, so thankfully I did.
Well, I've heard you're also an incredible chef. Right now, you guys are definitely in the kitchen of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. How do you keep cooking in the second half?
Just do what we did in the first half. Do a good job up front, protecting the quarterback, running the ball. Defense keep doing their thing. Special teams do what they've done.
Ryan, thank you.
Thank you.
Canadian musicians on Canada Day weekend halftime in Ottawa. The Argos lead it by 15 points. But some interesting stats here when you consider that Ottawa got down close to points and ended up with nothing to show for it. In fact, a big point swing on the defensive touchdown. Now here's Bob Dice talking to Claire Hanna.
Bob, as you find yourself down 18-3, what do you need to shift in the second half?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, you can't turn the ball over twice in the score zone. You know, really, you look at where the score should be. We got to lock in and focus on what's happening on the play in front of us. That's the only thing we can do is look at the one play that's in front of us and move forward from there.
We saw Dustin Crum take a big hit at the end of that first half. Are you going to be making a switch?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Lapo, Dustin Crum has shown an ability to move that Ottawa offense, but you were saying what Coach Dice was just saying about how costly those turnovers were when they should have had points to show for it.
Yeah, let's remember, great special teams block punt, put the ball in field goal range, put the ball at the 18-yard line, and they turned the ball over there.
Second half begins. Devontae Dedmon with the ball.
So yeah, there's a big block punt, huge play, got the ball where you want it. You're in field goal range, but then you have an interception off a tipped ball, not poorly located. So then next thing, good ball. Khalil Pilkins takes this all the way to the 5-yard line. Benji Franklin takes it, returns it all the way 105 yards for the. Sluka takes it all the way for a 105-yard return. So there's at least possibly 10 points. Could be you had a first and goal from the 5-yard line and a field goal. Huge difference in this football game.
And on first down, it's William Stanback, the ball carrier. Good pick up about 9 yards for Stanback, who had just 2 yards rushing on 4 attempts in the first half.
Yeah, and speaking of Sluka, this return is the 4th longest in the Canadian Football League history for this young football player. Hey, and let's talk about Toronto. Toronto defensively came in 8th in the Canadian Football League, 131 yards a game. Right now, Toronto's D's held Ottawa to 22 yards rushing before that last carry.
9 by Stanback, 2nd and 1. Back to him, first down and more as he pushes up to the 50. And by the way, not the most famous punt return touchdown. There's Sluka who had it, or I should say fumble return touchdown on this field even. Grey Cup 2017, remember the name Cassius Vaughn?
Yes.
They had one on a fumble by the Stampeders in the Grey Cup. That return was for over 100 yards in the Grey Cup, and the Argos ended up winning that game. So Toronto has some Argo bounces that they don't want to forget. Certainly not that one into the hands of Sluka with a touchdown in the first half. Now taking a hit is Braylon Addison off the catch, and he is slow to get up. It was Tavares McFadden coming in.
Third time you've seen the Red Blacks run this concept to get the ball on the perimeter. Easy throw on the outside. They force you to throw the underneath. Great hit by McFadden.
And Braylon Addison has been a key part of the Ottawa offense so far this season. I hate to see that, as he is still down and in a lot of pain as he gets some attention from the medical staff of the Red Blacks. Early second half at TD Place in Ottawa. We'll be back as we await the resumption of action. I want to give a birthday shout out. Tomorrow, Bob Obilovich turns 85. Happy birthday, Obi. Sean Burke, GM of the Red Blacks, reminded me of that, wanted me to give the shout out. There's Sean up there, and Obi's had an influence in both of the general managers in this game. Michael Pinball Clements as well of the Argos. He's the one that gave him Pinball's nickname. But Obi used to be a panelist, the TSN panel in 1997. I was host that year way back when. And of course, Obi used to be a coach in Ottawa before becoming a head coach in Toronto and winning the Grey Cup back in 1983. Have a great one tomorrow, Obi. Back in play after the injury to Braylon Addison. That is caught. Gino Lewis still going too, chugging down to the Argo 45. One drive at a time as the Red Blacks try to get back into this game down 15.
Vertical and breaking, two in-breaking routes. Benji Franklin backs up. Gino has space. Easy when it's 2nd and 5. Nice throw, nice completion. You love a big wide receiver, big strong arm player. You can just throw it to Gino Lewis, making a nice play.
So down to the Toronto 45. Dustin Crum takes the handoff to stand back. He takes off. Crum running well, running hard. Another first down inside the Argo 20. Very quickly, Ottawa on the move, and 25 yards on the ground for Dustin Crum.
You're going to have a guy going up and a guy out in the flat. As they all clear the defense out, Dustin Crum says, nobody's open. I'm going to run the football. But when you send those people deep and outside, creates a huge lane for the quarterback. And Dustin Crum can great running with the football. Big first down, put him in field goal range.
Down to the 20. Red Blacks on the move. Pressure coming. Knocked away at the line of scrimmage. It got deflected. Falls incomplete. Second down coming up.
Good stop by the Argo defensive line. A little bit of pressure. Hey, when you can't get there, just throw your hands up. Try to put yourself in a position. Try to put you. I think that's Anthony Lanier that made the contact. You know you can't get there. Throw your hands up. Try to make a play on the ball. And again, Dustin Crum's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. What do you do as a D lineman? You stand up, knock the ball down for those quick throws that CFL teams love to do.
Tyshawn Blackburn coming in from the side on the blitz. So it is a 2nd and 10 now at the Argo 20. Red Blacks trailing by 15, still looking for their first touchdown in this game. Crum running out of time again, and they've got him. Finally get him. Looks to squirt away. Isaac Darkangelo and Lanier in on finally finishing off Crum before he can escape the pocket and take off again.
You know, the one thing I'm going to say is the offensive line has to give him more time, right? You'll see the pressure starts to get to him. They've got to be able to hold up to give him longer to be able to look downfield. I don't think he had any time to be able to look downfield with that twist, what you call is one defensive lineman going around another one. Got to give the guy more time so he can throw the ball downfield.
So Lewis Ward back on again, 1 for 1. Final play of the first half. They finally got some points with a 50-yarder. That's blocked. Hands up. Knocked away. It rolls into the end zone, and Sluka has it. But instead of 3, it's looking like this will be 1 as Sluka keeps running around. No, looking to get out. Sluka, has he had enough running for one day? 105 for a touchdown on a fumble return, and this time on a blocked field goal, the length of the field again. How about Derek Sluka? Touchdown Argos. What a night.
This is crazy. The Ithaca Bomber making plays all over the field. Special teams, defense. I don't think I've been in the league a long time. I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
That is just crazy.
Great vertical presence on the inside, knocked the ball down. Now what's hard is all the offensive linemen, everybody's trying to spread out, and the field's so wide. The hardest thing is when Sluka changed direction, there's too many people on the other side of the field. He's got a couple of blockers out in front of him. The change of direction is really what hurt the Red Blacks there. And Sluka's a talented football player. That's an amazing football play. I don't know if I've ever seen this. See,
Absolutely.
how many yards this guy's run for 2 touchdowns is like the history of the CFL.
Unreal for Sluka. Over 200 yards for touchdowns on 2 plays. 105-yard return on the fumble pickup, and that one he goes from the end zone. The blocked field goal and 3 red zone attempts for the Red Blacks. One's picked off, one is fumbled, and one is a blocked field goal. And on 2 of those, the Argos took it the other way for touchdowns, courtesy the rookie from Ithaca, number 20, Sluka.
Let's talk about Derek Sluka. In training camp, Rod, he was a wide receiver. And then they say, hey, you know, we got some injuries. We want to make sure, let's see you play some free safety. 2 days before a Hamilton game, he has an interception in the Hamilton game. They like what they see. He ends up starting in week 1, starts making some plays. And I don't know if I've ever seen somebody have 2 over 100-yard touchdowns in a football game. So this is an amazing young football player. This is a great story from small college, upstate New York, Ithaca College Bombers. Yeah, I mean, the Red Blacks have done some good things. These just critical errors are just what's killing them.
Well, Lapa, we got our stats guru, John Proberg, furiously working on this one on 200-plus touchdowns. And bear in mind, in the Dedmon return, down he goes at the 45. Bear in mind that if it ever did happen in one game by one player, you'd think it'd be a running back or a receiver.
Yeah.
This was a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown by Derek Sluka.
And I might say, like, I don't know if 2 different players have ever had touchdowns this long in a game, let alone one player. So hats off to him. You know, hats off to the scouting department that found him.
Danny.
He was trying to play free safety in the NFL, but he played free safety in college. Some of the NFL teams moved him to a receiver. The Argos tried to play him a receiver, then made a good switch.
From over to Addison. And he bounces off a tackle, and he's got something going into the Argo zone down to the 42. Addison, who was injured and on the field for a while the previous possession, it's nice to see back and healthy and running well after the catch.
Screen into the boundary. Try to do these screens, get speed and space. The linemen sometimes have trouble blocking out in space. Cameron Judge is there, but hey, Braylon Ant's a good athlete. Makes a miss, gets a big gain. Nice, easy throw for the quarterback, get him in rhythm. Good balance by Braylon Addison.
You consider in the Sluka touchdown the point swings, too. 10-point swing at the very least, another 10-point swing in the block field goal. Scrum, escapes, takes off, first down. Jared Martin, starting strong side linebacker in his first game, pushes him out, but a gain of 13 for Crum.
And this is a good start of a drive. Big explosive screen pass. Quarterback doesn't like the picture, pulls it down, creates a first down with his legs. He had 5 of these runs last week. They just got to stay on task. You heard Coach Geis say it at halftime. Do it play to play to play. The 1st and 10 in field goal range. Keep progressing down. Just get points on this drive.
That's the thing. They're moving the ball. They just don't have much to show for it at all. In fact, twice it's backfired. Not only no points, the points have gone the other way. Red Blacks. Addison, the ball carrier. Darkangelo has him wrapped up around the 26. Say 4 more yards for Braylon Addison there, and a second down coming up.
Nice run inside. You know, Braylon Adams is so good. He's shifty. You can use him in the backfield. You can use him as a slot. I know Tommy Condell loves putting him in the backfield. It makes it harder for the linebackers to figure out when Braylon's in the backfield. How do we adjust when he's out at slot? When we put him into the run game, it's harder for those linebackers to kind of fit their gaps of a responsibility. So Tommy Condell always is innovative with how he uses multiple players touching the football. And Braylon Addison's a great winger. Gave a couple of run plays too.
So down, closing in again, 26-yard line. They've been here before. Gets to the point now.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 40 seconds. 8:40.
That's where we're at. 8:40. Ottawa football and a 2nd and 6. Now down 22. 14 of those points stunning by the Argos. Pressure. They got Crum. And he can't get away. And it's Chatfield again. Andrew Chatfield. Another sack for him. Celestin Haba's in there to help him out. But what a start to the season with the Argos for that man. He picks up his 2nd of the night and his 5th of the season.
Darda Lee again will take a look and see what happens. Gets beat on an inside move, speed rush. Dustin Crum can't recover in time, takes the sack. And the difficult part of this puts it to a, lengthens this field goal to a longer field goal.
For the last time out for Ward, it was blocked. It still went into the end zone, and Sluka was back there to return it. It's Janarian Grant back there now.
And again, we got to give quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, more time to throw the football. I think the O-line's got to help him with his opportunities.
And gets that one free and gets it through, and 3 points on the board. Well dressed for the Canada Day festivities. Canada Day in the nation's capital. But the hometown Redblacks certainly have some work to do, and a beautiful night here in Ottawa. We'll be back. For over 20 years, along with the CFL and its member clubs, the Purolator Tackle Hunger program has delivered over 25 million pounds of food to families in need. Go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to make a donation. Look at the next stops coming up: Edmonton, July 6th, and Regina, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Hamilton. We'll stop everywhere this season for Purolator Tackle Hunger. Argo football now. Ottawa's had it a lot in this half, but just 3 points to show for it. First time down after the block. Oh, we got a flea flicker now. Some flash from the Argo offense, and a shorter pass off to the wide side for David Ungerer falls incomplete. So Arbuckle looking downfield, couldn't see what he wants. Tries Ungerer, but it's incomplete. 2nd down.
Good eyeballs by the defense of the Red Blacks. When you try these special plays or trick plays, you're trying to get people's eyes distracted. Red Blacks are in zone, got out of it. Nick had to throw, the outside throw, wasn't able to locate it. So good job of the Red Blacks defense, not falling, not getting their eyes in the wrong spot. You want to get your eyes right. They're in zone coverage, dropped everything out.
25-6, 19-point difference now. And movement up front. Looks like an offside coming up against Michael Wakefield. Free play, deep ball, nearly intercepted. It's caught. Coaxey, what else can go the Argos' way on this night? C.J. Colton off his hands and into Coaxey's. And the flag down presumably is against Ottawa. 41-yard pickup, waiting for an official announcement here as they head down the field.
Coaxey with an unbelievable play.
Offside. Ottawa number 96. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down for Toronto.
It's going to be what you call a wheel route up the sideline. You're trying to cancel one player out, and you have the second up the sideline. The ball is too far inside. Colton's there to make it. But this is what you talk about, having athletes who have great hand-eye coordination. Colton taps it. Right there for Demonte Coaxey. Spectacular play with his eyes to make that catch.
Right down the field. That's knocked at the line of scrimmage. It's intercepted. Well, this time the bounce goes the Red Blacks' way as they do take over at their 40. Robert Priester up against his old team. Won a Grey Cup with the Argos. Had a pick 6 for them last year in Vancouver. Well, this time facing them for the first time. Priester on the deflection at the line of scrimmage gets the interception.
Same thing on the inside, a little bit, getting your hands up as you get in and close. You knock the ball, give you good opportunities to make a play on it. Robert Priester's right there. They've been blitzing the halfback, Robert Priester, in this football game. He's right there in the protection scheme as he's being blocked by the protectors. Great heads-up play.
I'm going to say until then, if it could go wrong, it was going wrong for the Red Blacks on this night. They do get the turnover, though. They're still down a bunch, 19 points, but they have the ball inside their 40 for Crump. Steps up, locked away at the line. Like Lanier and company getting their hands in there, in the lower throw by Crump, second down.
Second and long now going to be for the Red Blacks, where they've struggled early in this football game. They've only converting at 36% in this game, so they really struggled on second and long.
Just a gorgeous night here in Ottawa. This football game has certainly had its moments, hasn't it? Second down. That's caught Pendleton. Quickly turns, moves upfield, across the 50, and a first down for Ottawa.
Good recognition by the quarterback here. Spread the defense out. There's no back in the backfield. Look how quickly he makes decision. He sees the zone area, gets it to Pimpleton in the space. Pimpleton can turn it. Because it's thrown so quickly, Rod, he can turn, get upfield for the first down on second and long.
Into 15, up to the 53, Red Blacks. Needing to get something to show for it here, too. Addison in the Argos zone now around the 51. Braylon Addison. Another quick pass, setting up a second and short, Ottawa. Under 5 minutes to go now until three-quarter time.
Similar plays. We're trying to get him easy pictures, spread the defense out. Don't put it back in the backfield. Let him pick the soft spot in the defense, and he throws it immediately. They're also going no huddle now, trying to minimize how many plays are in the playbook for him.
Taking the handoff down the boy. The pass, a first down. And more, Gino Lewis. A straight arm there for Darius Bratton down around the Argo 10. So here comes Ottawa, desperately needing not just to move it, but to score at 2 with 40-yard pickup.
The mobility of the quarterback is what makes this happen. You're going to have, this is a pattern concept, and the quarterback's going to pull it. You have to cover the eligibles. They drop Gino Lewis because they're looking into the backfield. They think it's going to be a run. Good pull, good read, reading deep to short. Excellent execution by Dustin Crum. Big play down inside the 10.
And a first and goal. A reminder, 3 red zone attempts for Ottawa tonight. 1 was picked, 1 was fumbled, and then there was a blocked field goal. And 14 points were scored against them in their 3 red zone attempts. So here we go. Adeboboye, right side, cuts it up inside the 5. Gets it down to 4, maybe the 3. It is Sluka coming in to finish off that tackle of Dan Adeboboye in a second and goal.
This is what you love about Adeboboye. Watch his balance as a defender shows up right here. Makes the move to make him move inside. I think that was Tyshawn Blackburn. He makes a great, what I call this, cut the weak arm. As he overplays it, I cut back inside. That's the balance you want in your running backs. Nice run inside.
And Blackburn forcing that inside is the Argo, who is down right now and getting attention. Product of the University of Alberta, and him from the Toronto area. Daniel Adeboboye went to Bryant University and got picked up by the Argos. Spent his first 3 seasons there, won a couple of Grey Cups, and then traded to the Ottawa REDBLACKS, going up against his old team. And down in his territory now, too, after a great game last week against the Calgary Stampeders, where he ran for 96 yards. We got a second and goal coming up. And Ottawa, again, needing not just points, they need a touchdown. See if they can get back in this game.
Yeah, you would think they would go. They got 2 plays to get 3 yards here.
They have had their chances.
Well, I don't expect a field goal.
The handoff out of a boy. Touchdown. And there is parents there to cheer him on. Went from being Argo fans quickly to being Ottawa fans, and they don't miss a game.
start to Lee. As you push people down the line of scrimmage, and the back has the ability to come backside on this zone play. This is a wind it all the way back as they release one. You see Darda Lee take the defensive end. Nice cut back into the end zone. Gets his shoulder square. Puts him in that position to put the ball at the 1 yard line right here, huh?
And they get the cut a wood cookie.
Cut a wood cookie.
Ches and Enoch weren't there to do it. They wouldn't be trusted with the chainsaw and the axe at that point, I don't think. They're going for two. 25-12, 13.
Third and one.
Oh, it's third and one.
Touchdown. Yep,
Oh, it's a touchdown. Excuse me, looked like Attaboy got in before. So they get the touchdown now on that third down and goal. Dustin Crum will get it. And they'd already cut the wood cookie.
A lot of bodies here. Everybody's going to slide to the inside gap, and he's going to pick a side and go. Stays nice and low. That's going to be whether your offensive line gets lower than the D-line. Dustin Crum's big. They just follow the big lineman in for the touchdown. So good drive. Good. So Coach Dice talked about it coming out of halftime. Hey, get a drive going. Just get a touchdown. Take it one play at a time. Good series for the Red Blacks.
Took one play longer than thought, and Lewis Ward to convert, and he does. And so it is a 12-point game. 25-13. Attaboy got close. But it's Crum who gets to finish it off with another rushing touchdown for him. Doesn't matter who gets it for Ottawa, they just needed one.
Playing team football. Started with the defense. The interception by Robert Krista off the tip ball. A couple of short passes by Dustin Crum. Then the big one to Eugene Lewis and the broken coverage for a 40-yard gain. Attaboy gets a couple of big runs. Then we finish it off with Dustin Crum with the QB sneak for a big drive. Get back into this game. Get the crowd into it. Get your defense fired up. Go play football again for another drive.
And when you consider they trailed by 12 points, they've given up 14 on long plays, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, a missed field goal, a blocked field goal, return the length of the field for a touchdown. What a difference it would have been for the Ottawa Redblacks. And Dustin Crum did what they had to do there. Crum ends up getting the touchdown, not out of a Boye. But bottom line for Ottawa, still with a shot here.
Well, for Ottawa on the sideline, they should feel fine because they've got some. They've got a couple of crazy plays that have happened in the game. And you just got to kind of flush those and move on. They've been playing some good defense at times. They've done some good things offensively. The critical errors, try to forget the critical errors. Keep playing football. A lot of time left.
They have 282 net yards of offense compared to 204 for the Argos, but most important stat, still Toronto's way. Pressure, though, immediately on Arbuckle. Looking to hand it off. Little mix-up there in the backfield for Toronto, and the Argo defense, or offense,
negative yardage.
That play.
Negative yardage play is going to put the Argos in a second and long situation. Not sure if this is a bad handoff. Yep. Okay. Nick think it was over the top, which is behind the quarterback, and the tailback thought it was in front of the tailback. So miscommunication on how that ball should be exchanged. You can see Ryan Dibley frustrated with that, because that's going to put you in a very difficult second and 14.
After that loss of 4 from the 36, Arbuckle. Four-man rush, pressure again. Gets rid of it, under catches it. He is hit immediately by Elijah McGee. And McGee making his first start of the season after the injury to Adrian Fry, but it's still a third down coming up here in a punting situation, Argo.
Yeah, Elijah McGee, 11 games last year, 3 interceptions. This is a big-time hit. He sees the ball in the air so long because he's the field corner, so he's got plenty of time to run up and deliver the blow. You know, the Adrian Fry injury has allowed him to get an opportunity to play tonight.
John Haggerty standing inside his 30. Momentum shift here in this game. Late third quarter. Devontae Dedmon's back for it. And despite everything that's gone wrong for the Red Blacks, it's still a 2-score game. It's Haggerty with plenty of time to get rid of this. Dedman inside his 15. Cuts it up across the 20, the 30, but the 35. Adam Gillum at the long snapper in there to push him out of bounds. So Crum and that Red Black offense with an ability to move the football. We've seen plenty of signs of that in this quarter. And finally coming off, well, having a touchdown and getting it to within 12 points. Back on now.
We'll see what offense coordinator Tommy Condell for the Red Blacks does. A lot of quick throws, trying to help his young offensive line unit handle this pass rush. Mix in some quarterback runs and perimeter plays. It's what's worked for them in this second half run.
Dustin Crum, 17 of 24 for 212 yards passing, threw a pick in the end zone. One of those times that they had it deep in the Argo zone and couldn't cash in. He's also rushed for 48 yards and the touchdown we saw the last time they had the ball. So 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 34. Down 12. Needing to drive again. Open receiver caught near midfield. Ottawa looks to get something going again here quickly. That's Justin Hardy with the reception on the last play of the third quarter. Ottawa on the move again to start the fourth quarter. Not done yet. This Canada Day weekend in the nation's capital. Through three. Numbers a little skewed by the fact you see Ottawa ahead in net offense, passing yards, rushing yards, but two big plays by Derek Sluka, skewing the scoreboard, a 12-point lead. Well, we celebrate Canada Day weekend. We also celebrate Canada's men's national flag football team, coached by this man, Paul Lapalisse. Congratulations at an international friendly.
I got you a t-shirt.
That's for me. Thank you very much. And that was huge. I mean, not only beating Australia and Japan twice, but also the United States.
Yeah, it was an amazing day for us. The United States hadn't lost a game in 8 years. So for us to be able to go there to the friendly on their kind of turf, this is the second play of the game. Here's James Drysdale getting a nice touchdown. We kept the lead for the entire game, and I think we kind of showed a lot of people that we got a good football team up here for flag.
You get a t-shirt for Pat McAfee too, who says this can't happen. How did the U.S. lose to Canada? Job Lapo, men's national team. Raylan Addison, the ball carrier. Yeah, mentioning Pat McAfee, this is what he had to say about this defeat to the U.S.
We can't be losing to Canada. Okay?
You guys
can't be
Canada doesn't even play football.
It's a strong squad.
It is not.
The Canada one is.
It is not. That is the problem that I'm having here. This is flag football here.
It's embarrassing.
Can't happen.
Lapo?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they know what our roster is. They saw a loss. They think the U.S. has never lost in 8 years. We have talented football players. We have some CFL players. Michael O'Connor looked to be the best quarterback that was down there, former CFL player. So I just don't think they have the understanding of the roster and what we've got going from a team. So, hey, our next chance will be in Panama. We go to Panama in the middle of September.
There's still work to do to qualify for the Olympics in 28.
Yes, it's not automatic. There's 6 teams that go. So we need to be 5th out of 7 teams in Panama, and then the Worlds will be sometime next year. So we got a lot of work to do, a lot of growing to do, but it's a good start to go forward.
Certainly got the U.S.'s attention. The Ottawa drive stalls Richie Leone to punt it away to Janarian Grant at the Argo 10. Good coverage as he cuts it back up, gets closer to the 20. So Argonaut football now with a 12-point lead early now in the fourth quarter. The Argos looking for their first win of the season. An 0-3 start. The Red Blacks coming in at 1-2, coming off their first win last week in Calgary.
I like what this team is doing from the Red Black standpoint. Yes, they've got a touchdown, but look at the field position now for Toronto. You get stops on defense. You move the ball. You've got to keep backing people up. combination of this good defense doing it forces the Argos inside their own 20 for this next series.
Nick Arbuckle's 13 of 19 for 206. Thrown a touchdown earlier and was intercepted for the 6th time this season. Earlier in this half. Taking the handoff, completing the pass up to the 25. Tavares Daniels. 82 yards receiving before that catch. 2nd down now coming up. About 4 yards to go.
Just shows you how hard it is to throw the football in professional sports. C.J. Colton, you'll see, recognizes this. See how quickly he leaves his zone defender to come in to make the hit. So it's great catch by Tavares Daniels because the cavalry is coming. You got 3 guys standing right there. That zone closes quickly in pro sports.
Kevin Brown in the backfield with Nick Arbuckle. 2nd down and 4. Deep shot, right side. And that flag comes out, and it's caught anyway by DeMonte Coxey. Looked like the flag coming out for interference, but a big 1st down here for the Argos.
Defensive pass interference, Ottawa number 29. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
This is what you like to do. Have a one-on-one opportunity on your big receiver on the wide side of the field against a corner. Throw it up, give him an opportunity. And McGee is trying to keep coverage. There's the pass interference, but Coxey, great throw by Nick Arbuckle. You throw it up to your big target on the outside. Amazing play on the outside.
Another big reception there. Arbuckle, that was 41, and there's another one to Daniels. Stays in bounds and works it a little closer to the 1st down marker. Another catch for Tavares Daniels now as the Argos quickly go on the move. They haven't been able to sustain many drives, Lapo, but when they have, they've usually cashed in.
Good rhythm, flip the field here. They're already in field goal range. Giving Nick quick throws on the perimeter, using his legs also.
Daniels, their leading receiver, and as for Coxey, he has 2 catches, both 41 yards, 2 for 82. 2nd and 2 after the catch by Daniels. Up at 96 yards receiving now. Kevin Brown, right side, looking for the edge, and looking for that 1st down marker. He gets very close to it. Brown in his 2nd game with the Toronto Argonauts.
When you go lateral in the backfield, it's sometimes difficult. You'll see the Argos pull some linemen trying to get around the defense. Redblacks couldn't make the tackle. I think Frankie Griffin missed it there. Sometimes that yardage when you're going laterally on this short yardage, it's hard to get around, so it's going to make it a long 3 to force a field goal. I don't think Ryan Dinwiddie liked the spot.
Looking to make it a 15-point lead now. 44-yard try. We call it 43, actually, for the new father, Lirim Hajrullahu. Had one earlier. There's another one here. The veteran Argo kicker puts it through. 28-13 now. And a response from Toronto after the momentum swing towards the Red Blacks. Hajrullahu. Baby girl born yesterday. Mentioning earlier, there is Lirim Hajrullahu. Congratulations to him, his wife Denitsa giving birth to their 1st child, little Dia, born yesterday. And we weren't sure if he'd be able to play in this game, but baby born yesterday morning and made the trip to Ottawa. Boy, he has fond memories of playing here. That's the most fond memory there, of course, the birth of his child. But from deep shot. Intended for Pimple, and Mark Milton is there.
Pretty impressive by the Red Blacks offense. Another pressure. With a play action pass, sometimes you're going to have to help out. Watch the help out on the outside. Crum climbs the pocket, throws it downfield, just a little bit too much for Pimpleton. Gets one hand on it. almost makes that catch. I don't know if that would be something I would challenge with Milton.
Well, there's some officials in the stands that want Bob Dice to throw that flag. They think that Milton had contact with Pimpleton, but no.
Some good information from upstairs probably saying it's not clear and obvious.
Challenge flag back in the pocket. Here's Crum again. They get to him again. More heat. And coming in that time, one of the newcomers on defense for the Argos, that's Aaron Casey, making his first CFL start, just recently added just a couple of weeks ago with some of the injuries they've had in their linebacking core.
Yeah, you're going to see a twist between the linebacker and the defensive back right here. And what that means is one goes in, one comes around. Jacob Ruby moves his shoulder pads. He's got to keep his pads square so he doesn't give up that space. Hard Casey runs in to make the play.
And now we have a challenge flag coming out from Bob Dice. One play after that play by Milton. It's the one Casey coming in on Crum.
Ottawa is challenging the previous play. The previous play for roughing the passer. The play will be reviewed.
So another big challenge coming up here. 10:41 in the fourth quarter. Was this roughing the passer?
So there's the twist coming around. And again, the quarterback does not want to see A-gap pressure. What that means is over the centers. He can overcome the ones from outside. You cannot when it comes inside. We'll see if Casey got a hand on.
Oh, see the hand
right there for the face mask.
That's Chatfield.
Chatfield brought him down by the face mask.
Yeah, not Casey, but you do see the right hand of Chatfield in the mask. I was wondering about the Casey play. Couldn't see it, but they might have a case when it comes to Andrew Chatfield.
See Greg Marshall, defensive line coach, talking to him. Chatfield's been very good, sacking each game. Good pickup for them.
It has been from the REDBLACKS, where he was in one game last year, and he's been very noticeable in that Argo defense. It's gone through so much change in the defensive front from one year to the next. Mentioned he had 3 sacks coming in, a couple tonight, and in on that play with Aaron Casey on the blitz to take Crum down, but you did see his right hand.
For real. Now he's gonna do
Challenge for roughing the passer. Here's the decision from the replay center.
Upon review by the replay center, there is roughing the passer on Toronto number 94. We're going to go 15 yards from the 40-yard line. Automatic first down.
Well, great challenge for Bob Dice. Again, it is Chatfield, and you saw why on that last replay with the hand in on the mask.
And that's the communication from upstairs, from the coaches upstairs. They're going to see some of the TV angles. They're going to see a lot of the angles that we see that Bob won't. So great communication. Whoever upstairs told him, hey, I think we've got a face mask on this play. Huge challenge.
REDBLACKS at midfield, down 15. Handing off Adebaboye left side to the 50. 45, 20, 40, 35. And a good run there from Adebaboye, and another first down for Ottawa.
Misdirection play. Everybody going that way. That's where you think it is. But no, the tailback's going the other way. You watch as the ends come down. You've got good blocks on the perimeter. You leave the field corner to try to make the tackle. Adebaboye makes a miss. Really good misdirection play by Tommy Condell's REDBLACKS offense.
And a gain of 17 more yards on the ground for Daniel Adebaboye up against his old team. 5 carries for 37 now for the ex-Argonaut. First and 10 at the 38. Around Adebaboye. And he works his way down to about the 32. About 5. Second down and 5 coming up.
The Argos, you can see a little bit of the Argos are now playing a little bit more contained, forcing the ball to be handed off, not allowing Dustin Crum to get the ball on the perimeter, forcing Adeboye to get the ball.
Red Blacks venture deeper, but if you haven't watched this whole game, the story is Ottawa gets close and they haven't been able to get the points for it. Braylon Madison on the catch, works his way down towards the 30, needed a little bit more than that. We got a third down coming up and about 3 yards shy. They're 15 points down.
A little bit of pressure. Toronto bringing in their bigger defensive linemen because the Red Blacks have brought their bigger people in. This third and short situation is going to put them in position to try to go in third and short.
Third down. Red Blacks have turned it over twice. They're going for it. Adeboye, and he works his way through to get a first down. Good second effort for Ottawa running back Daniel Adeboye, and the sticks will move. The drive will continue.
Lower body strength, you want your running back, somebody who can, when the hole breaks down, get in there and make people miss. Chatfield's right there, but he falls forward. He knows the situational football, that all I need to do is get 2 to 3 more yards. Great run by Adeboye.
The third down gamble pays off. They get it down to the Toronto 27, 7:58 near the halfway point of the fourth quarter. 15-point Argo lead. Ottawa pressing. Crum, deep shot. And no, too far for Pimpleton. And a flag comes down. There was an Argo defender covering Pimpleton that went down earlier. Tavares McFadden, who looks frustrated there with that flag coming out. Some contact definitely between the two. That ball was too far for 83.
One-on-one onto the boundary side, just throw it up to Pimpleton, let him run by people. That's a safe for your quarterback. See whether this could be offensive PI right here.
And that's the indication going against Ottawa.
Offensive pass interference. Ottawa number 23, 10-yard penalty. Will replay first down.
At 23, meaning 83, Khalil Pimpleton there in the push.
Yeah. As we understand, both offense and defensive players have opportunities for the football. That was there was not much of a push right there, but a little bit.
They call Pimpleton, and that pushes them back 10 yards. Across the 35. Still first down, but it's a first and 20 at 37. Four-man rush. Crum steps up. He takes off inside the 30. And he gets it down. Well, he gets most of the penalty yardage back to about the 27. We got a second and about 10, maybe a little bit more coming up here for Ottawa.
And this is why you're seeing Toronto's playing so much more zone coverage in this. They don't want to be in man situations. They want to be in zone so they can see him start to scramble and rally up and only make it a 9-yard gain. That's what they're trying to do by playing so much zone against a mobile quarterback. You don't want to be in man coverage.
So call it a second and 10. Got the penalty yardage back. Big second down. Under 7 minutes to go. Red Blacks need another touchdown. Pressure. Crum's going down again. Another sack for the Argos. Isaac Darkangelo. He was in there, along with Greg Reeves, one of the newcomers to that Argo defense, to pick up the sack and force a long third down.
Darkangelo is here. I believe he's going to twist into the line of scrimmage, and he's really in there as a spy. He's just watching Dustin Crum, and it's hard where he aligned. Dustin Crum couldn't see him. He sees an open space to go to. Darkangelo is right there to make the tackle. So really good by Kevin Iben and their defensive staff of having a spy for the mobile quarterback.
Lewis Ward from 40 out to make it a 12-point game again. He does. Another one for Ward. We're back to a 12-point lead, 28-16 Argos. And now just over 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter at TD Place in Ottawa. Crum under pressure. Down he goes again. Argos still in charge. Vitale, Argonaut receiver. Well, he has 3 catches tonight. And Claire Hanna, he had a catch in the Grey Cup last year, and I assume that's a cherished memory.
Yeah, Rod, you'd think it would be the highlight of his career. But he said that when he would watch it replayed on TSN or social media, every time he saw it, it made him angry, pissed off. Now, don't get things wrong. He said he was so happy to win the Grey Cup, but when he reflected on the whole season, Vitale missed 6 games due to injury, told me he felt like he didn't contribute much on offense. So he was upset he got so much attention for scoring the touchdown when he felt like he didn't do much in the regular season. But that moment fueled his offseason. Vitale studied the playbook for 6 months, came into training camp 15 pounds lighter because he wanted to come back, be a starter, be ready. He says now he feels like he deserves to be on the football field.
Yeah, Claire, we were stunned. We were talking to him about that Grey Cup touchdown. He said, I thought it was BS. What? You don't expect someone to say that. But a great moment like that. But as Claire talked about, using it as fuel. Finger pointing time. Flags come out.
You know, he lost 15 pounds, too. He said, I really
Legal procedure, Toronto number 58. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Lost 15 pounds. Really got in the playbook. He said, for 5 months, I wanted to make sure I went to training camp and I understand the playbook. First year is a little bit hard to make all those adjustments. Looking forward to really good things with him. You know, and I talked to him. I said, you remind me of like Nick Dembski, the guys who can carry the football as well as be a great receiver. And he expects that to be part of his role going forward. We saw a speed sweep tonight.
First and 15 after the penalty off the fingertips of Kevin Brown with C.J. Golden bearing down. So second and long coming up.
Redblacks playing a little bit of what Toronto's doing. Long yardage, back everybody up. Let the quarterback throw it underneath. Offenses defeat themselves sometimes, Rod, even without the defense, right? Miss the throw, not located, drop passes. Keep them in second and extra. Get them off the field.
This Canada Day weekend crowd here at TD Place picking up right now in a big second and 15. Argos in their own zone at the 35. They lead by 12. 5:25 of the clock. Blitz coming. Arbuckle gets rid of it. No, incomplete. Daniels wanted a flag and he got one. His ex-teammate Robert Priester was in on the coverage. And it looked like Daniels had been slowed down there.
Defensive pass interference. Ottawa number 23. The ball will be placed where the infraction occur. Automatic first down.
You're going to see this player disappear, so that's going to tell you it's a max protection. All right, and it's a max blitz. So the one-on-one is right here. There's a double move, and it's hard when you're in a blitz situation to not give up that play right there. So in a cover zero or a blitz look with no safety help, a little bit of tug right there. That's going to be called every time. Big first down.
Arbuckle, it's Vitale. Fourth catch of the night, not much there. Maybe a yard. The product of Laval, top player in Canadian University ball back in 2022, and a 5th overall pick, first round by the Argos last year.
Love the chase by the Redblacks defense, minimizing this screen pass out to athletes. There's a lot of this in Toronto's offense. Flip it out to these good athletes, let them run with it. Redblacks defense run into the football and making plays. Right after Priester gave up a big penalty, he's right in there to make the tackle. That was Willie Fields and his defense coordinator.
Still time for Ottawa, but they're starting to run out of it. It's getting to be a bit of a concern. 4:20. Argos driving, getting near midfield. Arbuckle takes off again. He slides for a first down inside the Ottawa 50. For Nick Arbuckle, you don't see him run the way Dustin Crum does. That's just his second carry, but a big first down, Argos.
You can see him processing, seeing all these blitzers, and then they all drop out and play zone. He just doesn't have a good feel for what the route pattern concept is, where the coverage is. When the picture's open like that, take off and run. Excellent job by Nick, just seeing the picture, going, hey, if I got a clean scramble for a first down, I'm going to go take it.
Once again, filling in for Chad Kelly as he did so admirably in the Grey Cup last year. Kelly suffered a broken leg in the Eastern Final, and he has been the Argos starter as they wait for Kelly's return. Kevin Brown, no. Denied, pushed back. A lot of defenders in there for the Redblacks to force this second down and long. Led by Lorenzo Malden.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of rushing yards from the... We got Kevin Brown with 4 attempts, -1 yards.
And Arbuckle was twice an Ottawa REDBLACK. Paul LaPolice was head coach in the pandemic year where they didn't play in 2020. He ended up never playing for Ottawa then, and then he came back while you were still head coach. The trade from the Edmonton Elks back in 2021, and he ended up making 8 starts for the REDBLACks.
Yeah, he won his first couple of games. I think he won his first couple of starts, and was able to
Timer, please
win
reset
some games down the stretch for us, and then.
Timer, please reset the game clock to read 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
Oh, there's a couple Ottawa Senators people, right?
Oh, it's the Sens. My friend Steve Steos there, general manager, and Pooley, Dave Poulin, is with us for many years. With TSN as a commentator, now with the Sens. And it's right after the NHL draft, and they're taking a little red-black football now in the offseason of the National Hockey League. If there ever is truly an offseason. The free agent frenzy coming up as well in the NHL. Look at the rushing yard difference. And that time Arbuckle just couldn't get rid of it. And he's taken down. Bryce Carter coming in. Big defensive play. Ottawa, we're heading down towards 3 minutes, and still a comfortable 12-point lead, but Ottawa can get the fullback. Get the ball back, I should say.
That's what's called a twist. Bryce Carter, not the biggest guy, but very athletic. Beats inside as Nick goes to scramble. Nick's going to see that big space, and then the twist shows up there. So great play by Bryce Carter, third-year player from James Madison University.
So the 3-minute warning has been given, and the Argos poised to punt. 12-point hole for the REDBLACKS. Very little time to make it up.
Next week, the panel's pilgrimage continues westward to Calgary for the inaugural Stampede Bowl. Featuring Bullet Kate Burness, Enoch Haas Moamba, and Paul the Long Arm of the Law LaPolice. Blue Bombers versus the Stamps in Stampede Bowl 2025. Yeehaw! Thursday night.
Yes, long arm of the law.
Long arm of the LaPolice Law. That's right.
The first time I've seen you in the cowboy gear. Looking good.
Wait a minute. We wore cowboy hats last year in Calgary.
We did last year in Calgary when Ottawa was playing there, and we broke them out. They're on the run. Dedman on the punt. Any field position they can get at this late stage of the game, they'll certainly take those yards. 2.5 minutes to go. So
important to have a veteran returner who can recognize short ball. Watch him run underneath this to make sure he catches it on the fly. Gets great. That's a great extra. That's one extra first down. So Dedman recognized it short, running up, making the play. Just a great job by Dedman.
Up to the 37 now, and a first down. So they're down 12. They need 2 touchdowns. Let's just sum it up that way. Crum with time. Over the middle, no. Intended there for Addison. And falls incomplete. Second down now. REDBLACKS at risk of a 1-3 start to the season, which is what the Argos are now hoping for after that.
High on that throw, so Dustin Crum now with the clock stop, they'll huddle up, call a play. Plays in bounds, they're going to have to get up and call a play immediately because they've got to conserve time. It's what I would call cheetah, where you're going as fast as possible and you're conserving time. Receiver's going to get out of bounds. They're going to go no huddle as soon as they get it, if they catch the ball in bounds.
Well, no more punting, no more field goals. Just 3-down ball right now, and it's 2nd down and 10 with a blitz coming. Martin couldn't get there. He rolls out. They're chased by Casey, and Aaron Casey, 2 new linebackers making their debuts in the CFL tonight, figuring in on that play for the Argos. It was Martin charging in.
Once again, a twist is what hurts them. You'll see the twist on the inside from Casey. I believe that's there's Casey chasing, but a twist from the outside player forces them. The news contained. Dustin Crum's got to go scramble.
Third down. They got to go inside their 40. A 3rd and 8. They need 8 yards to keep this going, or the Argos will take over, up by 12. From looking that far, but a good play in on it. Right at the 45. That's Benji Franklin, shy of the first down. No chance at all with that ball coming in. And it is a turnover on downs as the Argos will take over. Pimpleton had it. Just wasn't far enough, and he couldn't turn it up. Well, if one player has made the biggest difference, it has to be Derek Sluka with 2 touchdowns, both of over 100 yards.
Yeah, the ability for him to be chasing around the ball, and then off this tip ball right here, out of the back of the end zone, starts going to his left, gets everybody running, says, hey, let me change direction, go the other way. I don't think I've ever seen 2 plays of over 100 yards in my career by one football player. So just spectacular day for him, and obviously the difference in this football game.
Well, when you consider it's a 12-point game right now, and on each of those plays, it's at least a 10-point swing. When the Red Blacks were in field goal range, instead of getting 3, they give up 7. And that happens twice. And there you go. There's your lead by the Argonauts right there. Sluka, that was just amazing what he did, not just once, but twice today.
Yeah, the special teams blocked the field goal, and then there was the interception that took points off the board. So very different game than last week when they were +5 in turnover margin. They took the ball away from Calgary. Here they had some critical errors that it's just tough to overcome when you don't have your starting quarterback in the game.
And to be clear, he didn't do it alone, obviously. There's that screen to Ungerer. Tackled around the 36, which is close to where he had to be for a first down. It'll be very close here. But no, they had the kick was blocked. There was a forced fumble. Franklin getting in. I mean, Sluka was just a part of it, but they'll remember that the guy not even on offense comes up with 2 touchdowns of over 100 yards, a fumble return, and on a blocked field goal, taking it out of the end zone and all the way back to help Ryan Dinwiddie and the Argos.
Ottawa. This is their 2nd time out.
But hats off also to the Toronto Argonauts and their defense.
Yeah,
chasing the football. You saw Benji Franklin knock that ball out. So they're running to the football, trying to make plays, knock the ball out, and then having a lot of guys around who can pick it up and scoop and score.
And he was a frustrated head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie, who's been used to more in his time as head coach with the Argos leading up to this year. The 0-3 start, by the way, that's the worst by a defending champion the following season since the 0-2 Calgary Stampeders over 20 years ago. And Dinwiddie said winning records, hosted the Eastern Final in 2021, again in 22 and 23, won the Grey Cup in 22 and 24. That's Mittal getting his short yardage chance. We talked to him about that as well, Lapo, that Mittal had been asking them all along. They wanted to change things up in short yardage, and Mittal, even back in his minor football days, has always been asking for the chance to perform in this situation. Here he is here.
Good sliding left. Just keep your feet moving. Stay on top of the offensive lineman. Yeah, Kevin Mittal said that, obviously the Argonauts have had some issues with some of their quarterback sneaks this season. So, hey, we have an athlete. He's good with the ball in his hands, physicality. So how do we find other ways to get somebody else involved, the opportunity to do the quarterback sneak? He was pretty excited for it. My first question to him was, when are they going to put the throw in? 2nd and 1. You start in, throw it deep.
So let me get this straight about the Argos. They got a really talented young receiver who wants to do short yardage. You got an offensive tackle who wants to catch touchdown passes. And you got a safety who wants to run for touchdowns and fumble recoveries and on blocked field goals.
Whatever it takes to win, huh?
That's where their touchdowns come from in this night. 2 for Sluka, 1 for Hunter.
And then, go back to Ryan. There was a lot of conversation after his comments after the game. And I liked how he talked about it. He goes, hey, listen, that's how I felt. That's the message I communicated to our players. But I probably shouldn't have done it in public. I should have done it in our team meeting room. I tell our players not to do those type of things. So he said, I told my players that we shouldn't do that. and I'll make sure I'm better next time. But he meant everything he said. That's what he told them. I meant everything I said to them. I just probably should have done it in our own meeting.
Talk about when things go wrong. Here they come back. They're 2 touchdowns down. They come back last week at home and tie the Riders. Looks like it's going to overtime. Just got to deal with the kickoff to Mario Alford. And they only had 11 on the field. Confusion because before they were thinking they might have to go for 2. It might be a short kick if they didn't get the 2,
yeah,
which
whether
they
they're going to be on onside, whether they're going to be on onside or return.
So that was a mess, and they only have 11 on, and Alford takes it all the way for the touchdown, and the Riders win it. With Kevin Brown running back, driving it down, close to another first down around the 25. But that's part of, and it wasn't just that kick return and 11 on the field that frustrated Dinwiddie. There's a lot of things, the penalties, the lack of execution.
They had 11 penalties for 129 yards last week. This week they had some penalties that hurt them. 6 penalties for 60 yards with much more improvement.
That was a 2nd and short. And they didn't get it. Pushed back a little bit was Kevin Brown that time around. And a few words with Leon Lang afterwards. So it's now a 3rd down and short. About a foot to go. 52 seconds, though, Academic at this point. Under a minute to go, and a 12-point lead as the Argos are poised to pick up their first victory of the season. Red Blacks looking at the same record of 1-3 out of the gate. And every team in the East will have finally won at least a game. The Argos, the last of them. Hamilton beating Montreal. Flags out.
So on 3rd and short, especially this point of the game, you're going to run some motion. You're going to do what's called a hard count where the quarterback's really going to enunciate the cadence. The motion's going to time up with that, and you're going to hope one of the defenders is looking in the backfield and he sees that movement. They're going to try to get them to draw off sides. Now the command center is going to assist this call. They're going to watch and see who actually went first. For the Toronto defense, they did a good job. Held Daniel Adeboye to only 46 yards rushing.
Defensive offside. Ottawa number 96. It will result in a 1st down.
Well, Michael Wakefield flagged again for the offside.
So that's a situational football you're going to practice in games. You'll see the hard count right here. Right. Corey Brissett going motioning across. It helps him get that first down.
Victory formation for the Argos and Nick Arbuckle. Expected to be the starter again next week when Toronto will host the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And after they head into the bye, a few weeks' time, Chad Kelly is expected to be back at quarterback for the Argos. Will have at least 1 win under their belt. And Drew Brown, that'll be another question for Ottawa. When will Brown be back? Although certainly can't hang all this on Dustin Crum. The way they did move the football, and they had chances to score more points, that's for sure.
Yeah, you heard Bob Dice said at halftime, you just can't turn the ball over in scoring positions. And certainly that happened too much tonight, and the spectacular plays by Sluka made the difference.
All the difference in the world for number 20 there at Ithaca College and getting a starting position in his first year in the CFL. At safety. You're great, Martin. That question. Are you going to be the offensive or the defensive player of the week? That's a good question. Give them both.
Special teams, too.
Give the new dad a chance for 3 more points. Your first child was born, little girl, yesterday, Liram Hiralahu. That one actually off wide to the right. The Red Blacks run around Devontae Dedman. And Chadrick Hansen denies him on the final play of this game. Canada Day weekend in the nation's capital. And a great night ultimately for that man, Derek Sluka and the Toronto Argonauts. Sluka with the long fumble return touchdown, and then does even better, a 120-yard return out of the end zone after a blocked field goal. So put the Argos in the win column and give that man a touchdown too, Ryan Hunter. He got the touchdown on offense.
Best touchdown in the history of offensive linemen. O-lineman scoring. Getting a catch.
And a frustrating night for Bob Dice, who sees his team lose a game that could have been a much different story. Ends up being 29-16, but the REDBLACKS had their chances. Not only didn't they cash in, but the Argos immediately, case in point, Sluka turned it up the other way. Points off the turnover. Points in a variety of different ways. That concludes week 4 in the CFL. Happy Canada Day. And have a great night. SportsCenter is next.